We believe in caring for our community, and we're prepared to offer you competitive options, flexibility, and a trusted source to help meet all your financial goals. We believe in you and your future. South Atlantic Bank, people you know and trust.
Time Warner Cable brings you NFL Network and NFL Red Zone. Catch every touchdown from every game, every Sunday afternoon on NFL Red Zone. Passionate about football? Time Warner Cable invents better ways to love it even more. Time Warner Cable. Enjoy better.
Cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer in the country. That's why Lexington Medical Center fought so hard to offer complete cardiac care. Because when this disease strikes, there's no time to waste. Our staff is experienced and exceptionally talented, and we've affiliated with Duke Medicine to create the very best cardiac program. The motivation is what it's always been, the health of the community.
Punch, punch, punch your way to savings. Punch cards are now on sale from Midway Par 3 and Cane Patch Par 3 and Driving Range. For only $125 plus tax, you get 15 rounds of 9 holes or 15 large baskets of balls at either course. No blackout dates. And both courses are lit in season so you can hit the links at night. You must act now to take advantage of this incredible deal. Stop by or call Midway or Cane Patch to purchase your $125 punch card today. On sale through February 28th.
Everybody, and welcome to Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia, South Carolina for today's 4A Division I High School Football State Championship game. The Gaffney Indians taking on the Dutch Fork Silver Foxes. Emerson Phillips with Stacy Huff. Glad you're with us here on the South Carolina High School League Network. Stacy, we've got Big 16 heavyweights today. Dutch Fork and Gaffney. Gaffney, the winningest program in South Carolina high school football history. Dutch Fork making its first appearance in the state championship game.
It's the old versus the new. New kid on the block. Dutch Fork first appearance, trying to break through and be a name brand as far as titles in the state of South Carolina. Gaffney is old news, but they sure love to do it one more time after getting defeated last year in the title game.
Let's take a look at these two teams. We'll begin with Dutch Fork. Their prolific offense, 41 points per ball game. And Stacy, they're led by the most prolific pass-catch tandem in the state of South Carolina.
No doubt about it. Led by junior quarterback number 10, Derek Olenchuk, 6 foot 162, thrown for over 3,300 yards this season, folks. 16 touchdowns by air, and even thrown in 4 on the ground as well. And number 18, the senior receiver, is Jordan Berry, 5'10", 161 pounds. This young man is not a typo. 122 catches, 1,940 yards in the air receiving the football, 11 touchdowns, and he's been selected to play in the North-South All-Star game. Jordan Berry, a dangerous kid. You want to keep your eye on him in this ball game.
Dutch Fork's head coach is Tom Knotts, a legend. He won 7 state championships in North Carolina. Today he'll try to deliver Dutch Fork's first state title, and we asked Coach Knotts about the offensive and defensive philosophy for Dutch Fork football.
Offensively, we were one back set. I like to use a tight end, unlike a lot of these South Carolina teams. So we're not a true spread team. Everything goes through our quarterback, Derek Olenchuk. He's a great field general. I mean, a tremendous field general. We've got 2 fine running backs. Matt Colburn has come on of late. He's a sophomore. I call him Mighty Mouse. He is very explosive. But Trey Gregg has been our emotional and our physical leader all year. He's coming off of a high ankle sprain, so he should be ready. And then out on the perimeter, we've got Jordan Berry, who I think is blowing away the state stat-wise with probably about 120 catches this year, and he's having a tremendous year. We're a 4-3 base defense. We've got 2 fine defensive ends in Jamar Winston and Omar Staley. They're going to have to play big for us to do well against Gaffney. We've got a safety that I think is phenomenal, Lane Ecton. We'll line up in 2 high. We'll line up in 1 high. We'll play a little bit of man-to-man. We're going to try to mix it up against Gaffney so they don't get a beat on us.
Now we'll take a look at the Gaffney Indians. 15 state championships won for Gaffney High School all time. Stacy, they lost in the championship game a year ago, and that does not sit well with the Indians.
No doubt about it. And they're led on offense by converted wide receiver, number 4 quarterback Shaq Davidson. Young man, 6'1", 170 pounds, accounted for over 1,500 yards of total offense after the move from wide receiver. He's rushed the ball for about 400 or 500 yards. He's a dangerous threat. But on the defensive side, they have an absolute animal over there. Young man by the name of Jalen Miller is the defensive end, wears number 89, 6'3", 255 pounds, 9 tackles for loss, 26 sacks on the season, averages almost 2 sacks a ball game, and he was selected to play in the Shrine Bowl to reward him for an outstanding senior season.
Gaffney head coach Dan Jones was a long-time assistant at Gaffney before he got the head coaching job there. He's now in his 3rd year, and we asked him about his offensive and defensive philosophy for the Gaffney Indians.
Well, we're a spread offense, run from a one-back mostly. We got an exceptional athlete at quarterback, and we like to get him the ball some, and he takes off on some plays for us and makes some things happen. He also throws the ball fairly well, and we got four good receivers, and so we move the ball around. We certainly got a good tailback that's had a phenomenal year. He's had 1,700 yards rushing, so we got a little mixture of both. I guess we probably lean a little heavy to the run right now. Defensively we run 4-2-5. We've got a senior-oriented defense. They've held us in this year. They've done a super job. Got good linebackers. We got one kid that's playing in the North-South game, and then we got a defensive lineman, Jalen Miller, who leads the defense. He's playing in the Shrine Bowl, and we surround those 2 guys with 8 other seniors, and Kobe McDowell playing corner, and he's been a 4-year starter for us. And so we're going to lean on the defense pretty heavy Saturday also, and hopefully they can slow Dutch Fork down.
We are just about set for kickoff here at Williams-Brice for the 4A Division I state championship. A couple of Big 16 heavyweights playing for the championship today. Dutch Fork and Gaffney. Kickoff is next on the South Carolina High School League Network.
Buy a DVD of this championship and any of the South Carolina High School League championships at SCHSL.tv.
We can get a player up here. Oh, that's good stuff. All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. Oh, we're coming in on 1.
For more information on how your school can join the Play On School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
Dear Honda, thanks for getting Dad a deal on his Accord at the holiday sales event. He's so happy about Pandora, he wasn't even mad I ruined his shirt, and then tried to fix it. The rear view camera means the reindeer might make it till New Year's. Plus he saved so much, it's been a great year for presents. Sincerely, Pete.
More happiness and standard features with every Honda during Happy Honda Days. Lease the all-new Accord for zero due at lease signing at your Honda dealer.
Contractors, homeowners, when you need to rent it, Ahern Rental is the place to get it. With over 38,000 rental items, Ahern is the Columbia area specialist for aerial work platforms. Whatever the size of your job, Ahern Rental has the right equipment for you. At Ahern Rental, we promise to always provide the youngest rental fleet, quality service, and the finest professionally trained staff in the rental industry. Ahern Rental. Call us today.
The 2012 South Carolina High School League Football Championships are brought to you by Time Warner Cable and by Honda. More happiness and standard features with every Honda during Happy Honda Days.
Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia, the site of today's 4A Division I state championship, the Gaffney Indians and the Dutch Fork Silver Foxes. An interesting contrast. Gaffney with 15 state championships all time. That's the most in South Carolina high school football history. And the upstart Dutch Fork Silver Foxes making their first ever appearance in the state championship game. Stacy Huff, we knew that this would be a huge crowd today. The big schools in South Carolina are represented today by Gaffney and Dutch Fork.
No doubt about it. And both towns, student bodies, whatever you will, have shown up to show out today, and they're very loud. This is a very festive atmosphere here. Both teams hungry for a title for two different reasons. Dutch Fork because they never had one, and Gaffney because they felt like they had one snatched away from them by Burns last season.
Burns beat Gaffney in the 4A Division I championship game a year ago at Clemson. But Gaffney beat Burns twice during this season, including last Friday night in the state semifinals to reach this championship matchup. Dutch Fork with playoff victories over Hillcrest, Boiling Springs, and last week 28-11 over White Knoll to reach the championship round. Gaffney with the black and gold, Dutch Fork wearing white and green.
It's going to be a big matchup right here. A very physical game is what we expected. Look at that crowd right there in a frenzy already.
The opening kickoff is made, and we are underway in the 4A Division I state championship. Dutch Fork on the return out to the 26-yard line. Good kick coverage by Gaffney. This is where we'll get it underway.
Lane Ecton returned that kickoff, and he's a name we'll call on the defensive side of the ball. One of the best young cornerbacks in the safeties in the Midlands area we saw this season, but he's a big player for them, and we'll call his name a lot. But the prolific Dutch Fork offense, Emerson, is going to be challenged today to go against a physical Gaffney defense.
Number 10 is Derek Olenchuk. We featured him during the pregame. He's thrown 16 touchdown passes this year, 3,332 yards through the air for Olenchuk, and 11 of his 16 TDs have gone to number 18, Jordan Berry. Olenchuk going deep on the opening play. Batted away from Berry.
Berry does a good job that time of being a defensive back. That pass could have been intercepted. Defensive back that time had position to catch that, and Jordan Berry used great body control to get it, knock the ball down. But they often start games trying a defensive secondary by going to Jordan Berry. We had a game with him early in the season. He did that, and the defensive back that time trying to get the number. Looks like it might be number 5 that time. O'Brien Davidson for Gaffney. Good play.
Davidson in good coverage on Berry. 2nd and 10, Dutch Fork. Screen pass caught by Berry, and Gaffney ready with the DBs coming up to make the stop.
Good job that time. Just a quick hitter play. They do this often. They want to get the ball in Jordan Berry's hands often as possible. And, you know, when you get 1,900 yards receiving, you know, a lot of that's after contact or after the catch. So you want to limit him to stopping him, making good tackles when he catches the ball, Emerson.
Rico Smith came off the block and made the stop for Gaffney. 3rd and 8.5 for Dutch Fork on the game's opening possession. Olenchuk with good protection. Sideline pass caught, but out of bounds.
Let's bring on punt team time for Dutch Fork, but all 3 plays went to Jordan Berry, no doubt about it. Coach Tom Knotts makes no secret about it. He feels like to win a ball game, Jordan Berry has to touch the ball a lot. That's why he has 122 catches on the season, and that one's just an errant pass, let him out of bounds by quarterback Derek Olenchuk.
Yeah, Berry's had a monster year this year. He caught 14 balls for 235 yards in the loss to Goose Creek earlier this year.
And they started that game off with a 76-yard pass to him for a touchdown. So they like to go to him early and often.
Here's the Dutch Fork punt out of bounds. They angled it away from Heilig Foster, a very dangerous return man and starting running back for the Gaffney Indians. So Gaffney with a good defensive series to begin the ball game. Now their offense will come out led by quarterback Shaq Davidson, number 4.
And Heilig Foster's the guy to keep an eye on out there. Young man wears number 1. Where's number 1? He's a guy at about 1,700 yards rushing this season. So he's one of the better backs in the state of South Carolina as well.
Gaffney will open at its 38-yard line. They open with a 4 wide out package. Foster, the running back, Beavis, Davidson, Sperlin, and Studdy Vance, the 4 wide outs. This is Foster looking for a block, but Walter Robertson came up and limited that run.
The reputation of Dutch Fork for the last couple of seasons and even earlier this season was a team not stout on defense. They played better defense as the season goes on. Inside handoff to Heilig Foster, the junior running back, and good job taking on a block that time by number 6 for Dutch Fork, Walter Robertson, the junior. Just a good play up front by Dutch Fork.
Gain of a couple for Foster. 2nd and 8 now, Gaffney. Hitch route caught over here on the near side. Number 2, wide receiver Brandon Beavis, a 6'1 senior.
Just a little quick hit and play right here, basically like a wide receiver or a flanker screen that time, and they're going to put pressure on Dutch Fork to make sure tackles. He ran through the first tackle, but Lane Ecton comes over to clean it up, but they move the chains.
A gain of 10 for Beavis on the reception, and a Gaffney first down. Fake to give to Foster, and it's Davidson breaking free right side, 40, 30, he's pulling away, 20, 10, 5, touchdown, Gaffney High School.
That was a beautiful job of ball handling that time by Shaq Davidson, and the young man pulled it out, and when he went down that right corner, he put on the afterburners and it was electric socks. He goes all the way to LaCasa Emerson, nobody over there, he's going to outrun the average bear. Watch him with that foot. He influenced a lot of people with that fake, and once he makes that man miss, it's nothing but recess right there, Emerson. Wow, nice. Lane Ecton had no chance. Great play call by the Gaffney offensive coaching staff over there.
Dutch Fork keying on Foster, and Davidson able to break one off the right side for the long touchdown run for Gaffney. Now the extra point kick by Ramirez is good, and Gaffney is on the board first here at Williams-Brice in the 4A Division I championship game. 3 and out for the Gaffney defense, and then they take advantage with the TD on the opening possession.
Great job blocking downfield, but when he ran through that first arm tackle, his eyes lit up, and he looks back now just for kicks and giggles, because he looks back. Nobody's catching him. He's just trying to look at the scenery. Nobody even had an angle, and that's a beautiful, good-looking play. And, of course, Shaq Davidson, a former wide receiver, played quarterback at 9th grade on the JV level. They knew he could do it, but they shifted him over early in the season, and he's like a duck to water. He's taken to the quarterback position. Emerson, 1,500 yards of total offense since the change.
That's Davidson's 5th, check it, 6th rushing touchdown of the year. And Coach Dan Jones talked about the fact that when they moved Davidson to quarterback, it's like having a 2-back set because he's such an effective runner. And that time the fake to Foster set up the TD run by Davidson.
Yeah, he's drinking out of 2 cups right there, and he's smiling, not because of the Gatorade, folks, it's because of that touchdown. On TV, too.
See what Dutch Fork can do. They get the ball for the 2nd time, and this is Ecton, Lane Ecton on the return to about the 27.
Emerson, we expect a lot of points. That drive by Gaffney only took up 52 seconds of game clock that time, and it's going to be an explosive game. This is going to be a game of big plays, and look at that. Smells like team spirit.
A 3-play, 62-yard touchdown drive for Gaffney. And they brought a big crowd with them from the upstate today, as expected.
Yeah, they traveled. Gaffney travels.
So now the Dutch Fork offense will try to get something established here, Stacy. They went 3 and out on the opening series after 3 straight pass attempts to Jordan Berry.
They have a young running back who's kind of taken over, a guy named Matt Colburn, middle of the season on, and he hasn't touched the ball yet. We know he does touch it a lot, so Dutch Fork has weapons on the ground and in the air they can hurt you with.
Delay in the action here. We had a penalty on Dutch Fork, an illegal block. So they'll start from their 12-yard line. Olenchuk opens in the gun. He looked left. He comes back right. He's picked off. Gaffney interception.
So that was 8.
Xavier Foster.
That's an 8 or a 9 on that jersey. Quan Weeks and Xavier Foster. But they're forcing the ball. They're forcing the ball to Jordan Berry. Olenchuk gets hit just as he turns that ball loose, but everybody here was waiting on him to go back to Berry. He did, and defensive back that time for, can't tell if that's an 8 or a 9 on that jersey with the numerals there, but
I believe it's 9.
Great interception that time by Gaffney.
Quan Weeks on the interception for Gaffney, and the Indians are in business at the Dutch Fork 15. 3 backs in the backfield, and they got Foster in a wildcat formation here, and he takes the direct snap off right guard for about 4. Friends, today's game and all of this weekend's state championship games are streaming live at www.SCHSL.tv. We still got one more game to come tonight. Hartsville and Union County coming up next in the 3A state championship. 2nd and 7 Gaffney. They've still got Foster in the Wildcat here. This time he's bottled up.
Great surge that time up front by Dutch Fork. They're playing the game on the Gaffney side of the line of scrimmage, Emerson. That's what they want to do, and that's what Dutch Fork is doing better than they did earlier in this season. They came and disrupted that play, and that Wildcat play with Hollick Foster had no chance from the word go.
And Foster will remain in the Wildcat here. He's got a couple of backs in there with him. Gaffney will go 3rd and 9. This is Foster. Incomplete at the 6-yard line. Had him open there, Stacy.
Looks like a tackle eligible. I don't know if there's a tight end. Like it might have been his tight end, Big Kiefer Sims, 6'2", 227-pound junior. Take a look. He faked like he was going to run, ducked down. Saw Tim Tebow run that years ago at Florida, and then jumps up and throws it, and just a little too easy. He was waiting for it to come to him and just did not watch the ball all the way in. Big miss that time by Gaffney.
It looked like that ball may have been tipped slightly at the line, and that may have altered the path of the pass as well. So now Gaffney will go field goal, spotted at the 21 for a 31-yard try by Ramirez. Victor Ramirez, right-footed senior, splits the uprights. And Gaffney has moved in front 10-0 in this 4A Division I state championship game here at Williams-Brice in Columbia.
That might be a win for Dutch Fork, believe it or not, giving up 3 points right there after a big interception. They've had the ball 4 plays now, and they're down 10-0. Dutch Fork's a team that likes to hold the ball in their hands, and that's just a great kick right there. And again, in high school football, if you got a field goal kicker that can actually make it from any kind of distance, that's a weapon. Most teams don't have that, so it's a rarity, it's a commodity, and Gaffney goes up 2 scores now with that 3 points.
2 possessions, 2 scores for the Gaffney Indians. Dan Jones looking on, got to be pleased with this Gaffney start. They went 62 yards on 3 plays on the opening offensive possession for the touchdown, the long run by quarterback Shaq Davidson, and now after the Quan Weeks interception of Derek Olenchuk, Victor Ramirez connects from 31 yards.
Onus is now on Dutch Fork, Emerson, to answer.
Now the Gaffney kickoff. Ecton's got it again. Jumped right away at the 28.
Lane Ecton's getting quite a workout. That's his 3rd kickoff return of the ball game, and they stood him on his head that time. Big tackle by number 43 for Gaffney. And they're going to huddle up right there. They're going to try to posse up there and see can they figure this thing out for Dutch Fork offense. Have not run the ball yet. The only 4 offensive plays, all 4 were passes, all 4 intended for Jordan Berry.
Dutch Fork's got a couple of good running backs, Matt Colburn and Trey Gregg. Gregg, the veteran running back on this Dutch Fork team. Colburn just a sophomore, but has had a tremendous impact since he came into the lineup about midway through the year. Here's Olenchuk, rifling, incomplete. Gaffney in good coverage again.
Intended for Jordan Berry again. And you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. He's been open most of the season, so you assume he's going to be open on the typical play. But Olenchuk hasn't been able to connect with his star wide receiver thus far.
Olenchuk, just a junior. We invite you to join the conversation about high school sports, not only in South Carolina, but across the country. You can follow us on Facebook and on Twitter at Play On Sports. Second and 10 and pressure on Olenchuk, but he'll drop it off on a screen. This is the 10th grader, Matt Colburn. Colburn nearly broke a tackle, picked up 8.
He has great field vision, Emerson. That's why a young man put up the numbers he did this year. And this, just a screen set up. They allow the defensive line in, folks, and gets 2 linemen out in front of the small running back, Matthew Colburn. And he breaks a tackle, slithers through, and gets them in good position here with 3rd and 2 coming up for Dutch Fork.
Manageable 3rd down here. Olenchuk will move under center. Single back behind him is Trey Gregg. make it Colburn to single back, pitch to the short side of the field, and that'll be short of the first down.
That play absolutely blown up on the spot there for the Gaffney Indians. Chavis Miller, the 6', 207-pound senior lineman that time, strung that play out, had some help from his friends. Watch this. Watch the black jerseys penetrate. Good job right there by 44 coming over. The play was stood up on that sideline over there. Good job of fighting off blocks for Gaffney.
Loss of 1 on the play for Colburn. Olenchuk, the quarterback, is also the punter. Tom Knotts trying to figure out this Gaffney defense early on. And a very delayed punt by Dutch Fork. That was interesting, Stacy. Olenchuk held it for several counts and allowed his cover team to get downfield before he punted it away. He didn't get rid of it right away on the punt.
Exactly. Almost makes you wonder if they're setting something up to see how fast they peel back. Maybe he can look at run that thing at some point. If Gaffney's not checking for him, he may can take that thing off and pick up a first down with his legs at some point. But there's Shaq Davidson coming back in the game.
Shaq Davidson, 6'1", junior quarterback, number 4 for Gaffney. Hylick Foster, the junior running back, in the backfield with him. And they'll work it around the right end here for good yardage. This is 6, almost 7 yards for the Gaffney Indians.
You got to love that as a play caller. You get 6, 7 yards on first down, the whole playbook becomes available to you. You can get a little, take a few shots that, with second and short. Offensive line did a great job that time for Gaffney.
Call it an 8-yard pickup for Gaffney. They've got 2nd and 2 here. Foster takes a handoff, bottled up, short of the first down. Give him no gain.
That was a good job that time by Dutch Fork again. That left side of the line for Gaffney has not been good for them. Dutch Fork has done a pretty good job of standing up plays. That looked to be Omar Staley, number 86, 6'4", 267-pound junior, a standout defensive lineman.
Third and a long 2, short 3. 4 wides in the game again for the Indians. Screen pass caught. This is O'Brien Davidson with a flag on the play. Picks up the first down, got bumped out of bounds.
Not 1, but 2 flags. 2 for the price of 1 right there. 2 flags on the play. 2 officials saw the same thing, I believe. Something didn't look right about the block on this side. Take a look right here. Shaq Davidson, just another one of those little flanker screens over there, and watch the block. It's a block in the back by number 11 for Gaffney. Looks like it may be the call there. Eddie Studevant, good idea, good try to block, trying to look out for your teammate, but just got a little bit behind the defender that time, and they're going to let him moonwalk it backwards if you're Gaffney.
We'll replay third down, an obvious block in the back, and look at our officiating crew: Rob Davis, Todd Johnson, Jeffrey Thomas, Gerald Parker, Doug Snyder calling today's championship game. And South Carolina High School League makes sure to bring the best officials in the state to referee the most important games of the year here at Williams-Brice. Stacy.
No doubt about it.
So third down, they go with a run play, and Davidson will be dropped well short of the first down. He's out to the 31-yard line, but Dutch Fork holds, and we figure Gaffney will send out the punt team.
And that they do. Lane Ecton, number 7 for Dutch Forks, there on the tackle, along with his buddy Marcus Taylor, number 33, a 20-20-pound junior. Watch right here. Watch 7 come up head on. It was a nice hit collision between he and Shaq Davidson, and then 54 cleans up over the top. Zaid Stivender, number 54, helped out on the tackle as well.
Zaid Stivender, the heart and soul of the Dutch Fork defense, combining on the tackle with Lane Ecton. And it's Ecton fair catching the punt at the Dutch Fork 34-yard line. So here are the Silver Foxes down 10. Stacy, a rough start to this championship game for them, but if they can get some offense going here, put some points on the board, you feel like they're going to be in pretty good shape. Let's check the starting lineups here today for these two ball clubs. Here are the Dutch Fork starters: Borden, Elmore, Green, O'Leary, and Little. They're a big group up front. Gregg and Colburn, the 2 backs. Jordan Berry, 122 receptions on the season coming in. And another interception. Weeks, 35-30, and lost the football. It's out at the 25. And I said Weeks, that was 21. Raheem Husky on a very similar play as the first interception.
A lot going on right now, but one thing going on is Gaffney is expecting the ball to go to Jaden Berry, and they're just dropping somebody back to jump into those passing lanes. And there's a flag down. There's an official standing over a flag across the field, but he looks left. comes back right, and that's the second play. Looked exactly like the first interception by Quan Weeks. In good hands that time, actually. A lot of defensive backs don't have those kind of hands, Emerson. That was a wide receiver type catch with his hands. Caught it in full stride. Bobbled it a little bit. Tuck and run.
Nice play by Drew Williams to force the fumble there, but Gaffney recovered on an equally alert play by Eddie Studevance. So Gaffney's got it, and they run for short yardage here on first down. 2 turnovers in the entire first quarter, virtually, Stacy, has been played in this half of the field.
And that's not going to be a good formula if you're Dutch Fork. You absolutely cannot afford to play the whole thing trapped in a corner. That's what Gaffney wants you, and Gaffney's coming downhill at you right now.
2nd and 7 for Gaffney after the run by Highlake Foster. This is Shaq Davidson. Davidson looking for room, jumped on, bugged, and brought down by Roberson.
Walter Roberson, that's the second big tackle he's made in this ball game, right at the line of scrimmage. And strong young man, solidly built. There's some stats right there. Look at you for the season. 6'1", 197 pounds. Shaquille Davidson, Emerson. 681 yards in the air, 7 touchdowns. And he can run it.
And he's got the only touchdown of this game. Here's 3rd and 4. Good protection. Davidson steps up. He'll run. First down and more. Shaq Davidson, touchdown. Gaffney High School.
The flag down, but I tell you what, Shaq Davidson is the man of the hour right now. Too sweet to be sour. That kid hits that corner, Emerson, and this Katie barred the door, so we'll see what the flag is. But I tell you what, Davidson around that right side has been real good to Coach Dan Jones and his boys.
We'll check the marker here.
And that's against Dutch Fork. That's going to stand.
Yes, it will. A 19-yard touchdown run by Shaq Davidson.
And right there, once again, similar players before Emerson, but there's just not enough people over there and not good angles at all. And this kid can run. He's kicking himself in the hiney all the way to La Casa.
2 touchdown runs for Shaq Davidson, and it is all Gaffney early on here in the 4A Division I championship. Now it'll be Victor Ramirez. Gaffney capitalizing on another turnover. Taking advantage of the short field, a high snap, but clean placement, and the extra point kick is good by Victor Ramirez. 2 TDs for Shaq Davidson, and it's all Gaffney so far.
Take a look right here, Shaq Davidson. He has 78 yards rushing on 4 carries, and 2 of those big runs accounted for most of that 78 yards. And right there, that's too easy, Emerson. Dutch Fork right now looking very much like a team that's in the big game for the first time, but Coach Tom Knotts, it's not his first rodeo now. He has 8 championships, I do believe, in North Carolina, played for 11 of them, so he's got to settle his young team down and get their feet up on them so they can make this a competitive ball game.
We talked about the 15 state championships for Gaffney as we saw Dan Jones on the Gaffney sideline. He was a part of several of them as an assistant coach, trying to win one this year in his 3rd year as the head coach.
No doubt about it. He got close again. Last year was heartbreaking for those guys. Emerson, you know, you did color in that game. I was on the sidelines when Burns upset them last year or beat them. I've never seen kids that heartbroken in a loss in my life. And we've done a lot of ball games. I've never seen kids crying and heartbroken, hanging their heads as bad as I saw Gaffney on that field up at Death Valley about a year ago. And they vowed to come back and make it right this year. And so far, they're off to a pretty good start in making it right from last year's loss.
Yeah, Stacy, that's interesting because a lot of folks in Gaffney felt like last year's team, they were 14-0 going into the state championship last year, and they had beaten Burns decisively in the final last year. And when they lost to Burns last year, you're right, the team was devastated. And Gaffney started the year 3-3 this year. And there was some speculation around the state that maybe they were still lingering. There was a lingering hangover from that defeat to Burns at Clemson last year in the title game.
May very well have been. Again, I've just never seen it. Was absolutely emotional for those guys to lose that game like that. Let's look at some of Olenchuk's stats. 248 for 357, folks. Almost 70% completion. That's high octane passing right there.
2 more interceptions today, however, for Olenchuk, and now Dutch Fork runs for the first time in this ball game. They run it between the tackles, and they've got Trey Gregg for a 12-yard gain and a Dutch Fork first down.
The senior leader kind of lost his position to the young sophomore Colburn, but Coach Tom Knotts makes no secret about it. He loves this kid as a senior leader. He's loved him in his program, and he still feels very good about giving this kid the ball. And you see why. Good shoulder lean, good leg drive, and all the things you teach a running back. Trey Gregg does those things.
So Dutch Fork has its first down. They'll run it again here. Little counter play.
That's Colburn in the Wildcat. Matt Colburn in a quarterback, takes the Wildcat snap, fakes it to Trey Gregg, so he gets both his running backs in the lineup at one time. Good play call.
A misdirection run that time by Colburn as Dutch Fork goes Wildcat. And we'll check the Gaffney defensive starters. Huge year for Jalen Miller. 26 sacks on the season. The linebacking core, Weeks already with an interception, joined by Smith and Husky. And you see the Gaffney secondary starters. Another run for Dutch Fork, and this is a tough run right here by Trey Gregg, very close to a Dutch Fork first down.
Yeah, he kept those legs churning that time, and I tell you what, the offensive line is kind of answering the challenge. You know they're being challenged on the sideline, Emerson, to step up and keep this offense on the field. The defense has played the whole game on the field, so good firing out of the ball by the offensive line. They really get into the black jerseys right now, pushing them back, and that's important. If you're going to be a prolific offense, you've got to get blocking up front to make the whole thing work.
First down now for Dutch Fork. Colburn did pick up the first from the Dutch Fork 43-yard line. Two tight ends in the ball game for Dutch Fork, and a handoff to Trey Gregg. Give him 3.5 here. Stacy, Dutch Fork runs a lot of two tight end sets, and that's something that Gaffney has not seen a lot of this year. Dan Jones, I think, was concerned about that, and the size of this Dutch Fork team as well. He said Dutch Fork might be the biggest team Gaffney's seen all year.
And Coach Dan Jones had a good comment at the press conference on Monday. He said he always asks his assistant coaches going into a game, do they have tight ends? And if they say no, he said, well, it's somewhat easier to prepare for them. When you ask Dutch Fork, do they have a tight end? He said, no, they have two. So good job by Coach Ken Watson, the tight end coach who played under Joe Morrison at the University of South Carolina, coaching them up.
Freddie Poole starting at tight end for Dutch Fork, and they break another run up the middle, and another Silver Foxes first down on a due north run by Trey Gregg.
Take a look right here. Inside handoff to Trey Gregg, the senior, and goes behind. Good blocking that time. Got a nice block by number 50 offensive lineman for Dutch Fork High School, David Tillman. Good block by Tillman to get him up through that hole, and great vision to cut back that time by Trey Gregg, the senior.
Husky able to hang on and bring Gregg to the ground, but Dutch Fork has established a running game on this series. They've got it at the Gaffney 44-yard line. Motion across the formation by Poole. Trey Gregg takes another handoff, and Husky there to greet him once again. 21 on 21, Husky on Gregg.
And he's get up slow, though. Huskies get up a little slow that time, and he's going to head to the sideline, looks like. Yeah, Huskies coming out of the ball game, but might have dinged himself up a little bit on that play, but he's been quite active early in the ball game.
Gain of a couple for Trey Gregg, who has come in and carried 5 times for 35 yards. And has given Dutch Fork's offense some life. Gaffney with a decided yardage advantage in this first quarter. And a decided edge on the scoreboard as well. Man wide open in the flat. Colburn, first down, more. Cracking helmets and popping pads down to the 23.
Colburn, Coach Tom Knotts referred to him as Mighty Mouse. Great design play. Coach Tom Knotts, a great offensive mind. Just a little wheel route out of the backfield by Colburn. He then ran the cornerback off with the wide receivers. There was nobody over there to check the wide receiver, and a good throw by Olenchuk. And Colburn did a good job watching that ball in and lowering those pads, finishing the run like you're supposed to. Boy, he's a tough kid to break down.
18-yard pickup on the reception by Matt Colburn. Dutch Fork doing work at the Gaffney 23. And this time the Gaffney defense ready for the handoff to Colburn.
Yeah, Colburn got stopped at the line of scrimmage that time, and good surge by the front four of Gaffney that time. That I think was snapping. Trey Gregg, they returned the favor. Trey Gregg takes the snap and gives it off to Colburn. Last time they did that, Colburn took the snap and handed it off to Trey Gregg. So they're using both running backs in the Wildcat situation in this ballgame.
Should be the final play of the first quarter. Olenchuk under center with Colburn behind him. It's Colburn stumbling through a gap and stopped at the 20-yard line. That will bring us to the end of the first quarter of the 4A Division I championship game. All Gaffney in the first quarter. The Indians lead 17-0 here on the South Carolina High School League Network.
Go
At South Atlantic Bank, we believe in sound banking practices. We believe in providing exemplary customer service to every individual and business. We believe in convenience, now at 3 locations to better serve you. We believe in caring for our community, and we're prepared to offer you competitive options, flexibility, and a trusted source to help meet all your financial goals. We believe in you and your future. South Atlantic Bank, people you know and trust.
Time Warner Cable brings you NFL Network and NFL Red Zone. Catch every touchdown from every game, every Sunday afternoon on NFL Red Zone. Passionate about football? Time Warner Cable invents better ways to love it even more. Time Warner Cable. Enjoy better.
Cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer in the country. That's why Lexington Medical Center fought so hard to offer complete cardiac care. Because when this disease strikes, there's no time to waste. Our staff is experienced and exceptionally talented. And we've affiliated with Duke Medicine to create the very best cardiac program. The motivation is what it's always been, the health of the community.
Punch, punch, punch your way to savings. Punch cards are now on sale from Midway Par 3 and Cane Patch Par 3 and Driving Range. For only $125 plus tax, you get 15 rounds of 9 holes or 15 large baskets of balls at either course. No blackout dates. And both courses are lit in season so you can hit the links at night. You must act now to take advantage of this incredible deal. Stop by or call Midway or Cane Patch to purchase your $125 punch card today. On sale through February 28th.
The start of the second quarter here at Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia. Gaffney taking advantage of a couple of Dutch Fork interceptions, and this portion of the Weekend of Champions is brought to you by Honda, wishing you happy Honda days. And the gentleman in the red hat is Rick Dolan, part of our crew, and Stacy, he's what we call the red hat. He works with the officials and the TV crew to make sure everybody's on the same page.
Helps run those TV timeouts that you hear people speak of. Yes, sir.
We flip the field around now. Olenchuk on 3rd and 7. Throwback pass. This is Gregg. Trey Gregg picks up a first down. We'll check the spot. It's going to be close.
Might have to bring those chains out and measure this thing, Emerson. Very close. He headed out of bounds that time, but a good job catching his pass. Watch this play almost get blown up by a defender. Offensive lineman number 70 right there made a good block to keep. that was our guy, 21. That was Raheem Husky that almost came there and messed that whole thing up, but he was deflected and knocked off the play a little bit about 70 for Dutch Fork. Reed Elmore.
Aaron Borden doing a nice job blocking to give Gregg room for the first down. It is a Dutch Fork first down. They're threatening for the first time. Play action. Olenchuk in space. Drops it off short. This is Drew Williams.
Listen, Tom Knotts has plays now. That was a great play design that time. Olenchuk could have run this for, positive yards, or he could have passed him. And if you look, the receiver was out there open for a while. That was an option, just laying there waiting. Nobody was over there near him. Great job watching the ball in and trying to finish off a strong run, but Drew Williams, 6'1", 190-pound senior, was over there. He's over there the whole while alone. He could have been doing jumping jacks waiting on the ball.
He was looking for Barry down the middle, but he dropped it off to Drew Williams for a gain of 9, and now we got flags on the play. 2nd and 1 at the Gaffney 4-yard line here, Stacy.
Yeah, somebody got caught
on the offense.
Somebody got caught trying to get to the party a little early. And again, red zone penalties. Red zone penalties hurt you. Look at that. Team spirit in action. Gaffney Indians coming down to Columbia. They can pretty much, you want to mail something to Gaffney, you can go and send it down to Columbia or wherever the championships are. 32 times they've been in postseason play till the very last game of the season.
That's right. It's their 32nd championship game appearance. Matt Colburn up the middle. Dutch Fork blocking pretty good in the run game on this series, and they'll set up 3rd and 1. Check it, that was Greg. Greg's 21, Colburn is 31 for Dutch Fork. That time Trey Gregg, the runner.
Yeah, that was a quick hitting play that time, and Greg hit that hole pretty quick, and a good job on the offensive line, but also a good job laying some heavy lumber by Gaffney. Those pads are popping out there now.
Greg got in behind Reed Elmore on that run. 3rd and 1, Dutch Fork. Poole moves to the left. Dutch Fork plowing. They got a first down, but not the touchdown. That will set up 1st and goal, however.
Good job by the offensive line, and I must talk about the offensive line coaches over there. Ike Harris, Emerson, you remember him as the offensive lineman for the University of South Carolina back in the day. He's on the offensive line staff over there along with Ken Watson I mentioned, and Kevin Hendricks, used to be known as the Chief, played at UNC back in the Joe Moore era. He's also one of the assistants on this Dutch Fork. They have a Gamecock Alumni Association on the coaching staff of Dutch Fork High School over there.
Dutch Fork ran 2 tight ends with Trent Simpson and Freddie Poole on the last play to get the first down yardage. Now they got 1st and goal at the Gaffney 2. Colburn, not this time.
Good job by the D-line of the Gaffney Indians. So that might have been Blake Best there. These numbers are a little hard to read on the Gaffney jerseys, but that might have been 62.
92.
92. That's Russell Hughes, 6'3", 260, a senior. Appreciate our spotter up here. Ryan Johnson does a great job with spotting, and as a statistician up here, Ryan Johnson is the man.
2nd and goal, Dutch Fork trying to get on the board. Delay give. Olenchuk says touchdown, but no signal from the officials yet, and I believe they're a little bit short.
Yeah, Olenchuk's, his decision doesn't count right here. He's an amateur official. And the ones that cash the checks right there in those black and white striped jerseys, they say no, not a nunca.
Very close, only about a foot short of the goal line. Dutch Fork will play 3rd and goal.
Big play right here. Dutch Fork has the answer. They need points, Emerson, in a big way. Look at it. Listen to this crowd. Listen to this crowd.
Colburn is the back. It's Colburn. Colburn in for the Dutch Fork touchdown.
Walks in behind big blocks, one of the key blocks, number 70. The Elmore kid we talked about early. Reed Elmore, the 6'2", 250-pound senior, with a great block that time to spring his boy, Matt Colburn, for the touchdown.
Credit the offensive line there, Stacy. They got a pulling guard.
That was 70. That's Blake. That's Elmore.
Reed Elmore kicked out and opened that hole for Matt Colburn. Tyler Bass, number 1, the place kicker for Dutch Fork. And this kick is good. So Gaffney scored 17 in the first quarter. Dutch Fork with a 7-minute, 33-second drive on 16 plays to put some points on the board and give us a ball game.
No doubt about it. Good surge this time by the offensive line for Dutch Fork, especially that pulling guard, though. Elmore had the key block, a good determined run by Matt Colburn. I think Colburn was looking for some contact. Didn't get it, so he went ahead and cruised on into the end zone to La Casa. But this is the way to answer. You got to answer in the championship ball game. You got to counterpunch, and Dutch Fork counterpunches for the first time right now, 17-7.
More than a half a quarter used up off of the game clock on that drive also. And Stacy, it's interesting that when they went to the ground game, that's when they started moving the football.
Exactly. They went to Jordan Berry time and time again those first 2 drives, and Gaffney was a little bit ahead of the pace on that, and they figured it out. So now the adjustment made by Coach Tom Knotts and his staff, and they broke out a lot of well-designed plays, and they moved the ball right down the field. You see them celebrating in the stands.
Dutch Fork cheerleaders and the Dutch Fork students.
Looks a little Christmassy over there.
And now the Dutch Fork kickoff. Bounding ball scooped up by Gaffney. And a pretty nice return right there for the Indians by number 25, JoJo McGill.
Love that name. JoJo McGill. Yeah, he got up there through there pretty quick, and a good tackle made by Dutch Fork. That could have gone for even bigger yards. Great blocking on the kickoff return for Gaffney.
So Gaffney's got it at their 34. Leading by 10. Shaq Davidson opens in the shotgun. On a jet sweep, he hands it off, and it looks like McGill, the ball carrier there, he just had the kickoff return, and they went right back to him on the handoff.
Yeah, it was a pretty violent tackle over there by a Dutch Fork defender, and McGill, backup running back, he gets quite a few carries though, but they've tried that left side several times. They've nothing doing on that left side over there for Dutch Fork.
Omar Staley bookending that Dutch Fork defensive line over there, and Dutch Fork ready once again. They ran it left again. They got nothing again.
Again, I say, not a nunca. Omar Staley's a name to remember, folks. Only a junior. He'll be one of the most sought-out players in the state next year.
Let's check out the Gaffney starters. Williams, James, Manning, Best, and Leach up front. You see the 4 wideouts. Study Vance playing both ways. Hylick Foster, the outstanding running back. Time for Davidson. Thought about running. Now he cocks and fires, and it's off the fingertips of that leaping receiver. JoJo McGill could not get up high enough.
Emerson, one of the harder things for a quarterback to do is not only throw on the run, but throw running forward. Watch right here at the end of this run. He starts going forward. It's hard to know what touch to put on the ball when your momentum is taking you towards your receiver. He heads upfield as if he's going to run, and right now he tries to, at the last minute, throw that ball, and he went off to the side a little bit, but it's hard to put touch on that thing after you start running with it. It's just too much height for JoJo McGill, who's only 5'8".
McGill was open. Davidson could not find him. That's a free football at the 35-yard line. But Dutch Fork is back on it. Boy, disaster averted. Lane Ecton pouncing on that free ball.
Yeah, Jordan Berry just didn't quite look it in that time. You know he wants to make a play in the worst way, Emerson, trying to run with it before he caught it. Berry has not been able to get going. Just took his eyes off it, and Lane Ecton bails out Dutch Fork right there with a big fumble recovery. So they're set up in business, Emerson, at the 34-yard line.
So now Dutch Fork, Stacy, after the worst conceivable start for Silver Foxes fans, they've cut it to 10. They now have the football back with a chance to make it a one-score game. Olenchuk with the thigh-high snap. There's Jordan Berry, nearly split 2 defenders. He's got 16 yards.
And I tell you what, that was a beautiful timing pass, and he and Olenchuk are really, when they're on the same page, it's, I think, a beauty to watch. Saw him earlier this season against Goose Creek, and he had 235 yards receiving, and it was plays like this. He throws the ball to a spot. Berry gets it at the same time, and number 5 for Gaffney, the young man on the spot, O'Brien Davidson, saved possibly a touchdown by grabbing Berry as he tried to split 2 defenders on that play.
Berry is 5'10", listed at 160 pounds, but he's very effective after the catch. A terrific runner after the catch. Colburn trying the right side. He might have got one.
And that's a nice play. They're going to try that, but the running game of Colburn running outside hasn't been there, but you got to know that Jordan Berry's going to get some looks. They're going to back to that again. That's been their bread and butter all season. So Olenchuk and Berry are going to be the keys to them winning this ball game.
Stacy, for our viewers who are watching Dutch Fork play for the first time tonight, you really haven't gotten a taste of what the Dutch Fork offense is like until the last couple of plays. You know, that slant to Berry, that's what Dutch Fork likes to do.
And they do it often.
Olenchuk throws for Berry, who slipped down, might have been picked off.
And it was. That ball, he slipped down and the ball went right to the defender who was behind him, and they're just having a hard time connecting. Olenchuk and Berry have not been able to synchronize, except for that one play, the previous play right here. And right here, Berry slips down out of his cut, and a great job getting his hands under the ball.
That's Godlock.
By the defender over there.
Yeah, Derek Godlock on the interception for Gaffney. So 3 interceptions for the Gaffney defense. And now room for Shaq Davidson, and he'll step out of bounds with a Gaffney first down.
Again, great ball handling. He got a great fake. Inside handoff, he faked to the running back, pulled it out of his belly, and it was opportunity on the outside for him over there. He did the same thing around the right side for a touchdown early in the ball game. They like that.
Dutch Fork starters, a couple of excellent ends with Staley and Winston. Run play up the middle. Dutch Fork's been good against the run. They've got a lot of size on that defensive line, Stacy. 6'5" and 6'8" at the defensive end spots.
Yeah, those some big boys. They're getting all their meals in over there at Dutch Fork.
2nd and 8 now, Gaffney. Shotgun snap. Davidson hands to Foster. Foster will lose yardage.
Showed pretty good footwork in the hole that time, avoiding the first guy, but there was too many white jerseys there as Dutch Fork won the battle of the trenches, and they've done that more often than not in this ball game. Just gave up a couple of big plays, but they've dominated on the paint.
Lane Ecton, Zaid Stivender. Dutch Fork starters, Staley and Winston with Simpson and Mack on that defensive line. Smith. Now 3rd and 9, Gaffney. Pressure on Davidson, and he'll go down.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say earlier. That painted C right there in the center of that field. You got Dutch Fork coming across right there. Omar Staley's having a whale of a ball game, folks. Number 86. Just a sensational football player as a junior. They're having a hard time blocking that kid, but they're coming forward. They're pushing the line of scrimmage back into the face of Davidson, and he had nowhere to go. Turned around, and it's going to be punt time for Gaffney.
They put Gaffney in an obvious passing situation, and those defensive ends went to work. And it was Omar Staley getting the sack. So now Dutch Fork will get it back here after another Gaffney punt. And Stacy, the game has sort of leveled off a little bit. It was all Gaffney in the first quarter, but the momentum has slightly, at least a little bit, drifted back toward Dutch Fork. Just a little bit.
No doubt about it. When people talk about Dutch Fork, they talk about the offense. Emerson, we even did it. But guess what? The defense bailed them out right there after a bad interception. They force a punt. That's huge for the Dutch Fork defense. The whole thing's right where they are and settle down this Gaffney offense until the offense can get on track.
So Olenchuk comes back out. Berry slipped down on Olenchuk's last pass attempt, and it resulted in the 3rd Gaffney interception of this game. And this time, Colburn takes a hand off a right tackle. He got very little.
They continue to test that particular side of the Gaffney defense, and Gaffney's defense continues to pass the test. Colburn has had no luck running off that right side over there. Stout. There's some huge kids. As you see them standing there with their hands on the hips, huge kids on the defensive line of Gaffney.
Dutch Fork goes 4 wideouts. Colburn off the right hip of Derek Olenchuk. Pressure. Passing. Beautiful throw. Caught by Brinkman German.
Beautiful throw. Beautiful catch that time by Brinkman German. Jordan Berry catches the most amount of passes in his offense, but those he doesn't catch, the table scraps, if you will, go to Brinkman German. And if you go to sleep on him, he will come up and hurt you as he did that time. Big play. That might get Olenchuk rolling right now with some confidence. He threw the ball to a spot. He trusted the offense, and the receiver met the ball at the spot. Beautiful design play by Coach Tom Knott's staff over there.
That is some kind of throw by Olenchuk. Yes. Under duress. He got hit as soon as he released the football, but still had the poise to deliver an accurate throw.
And German needs to be credited too for holding on to that ball, and he took a big shot in the ribs as he caught that ball. Good toughness that time by Brinkman German, the 6'2", 6'1", 162-pound senior receiver.
So Dutch Fork with new downs at the Gaffney 46-yard line. Poole, the tight end, in motion. Fake to give. Olenchuk sacked at the Dutch Fork 48-yard line. Gaffney got in there with 34. Rayshawn Ellis.
Yeah, Rayshawn Ellis came through that time and shed a block and did a good job. Take a look right here. Watch 34 coming to your screen right here. It was a little stunt done by the defensive line that time, but he came through, actually came through unblocked. Cut off Olenchuk's angle and then corralled the quarterback. Good short tackle there in the backfield.
You know, the last time Dutch Fork had the ball when on their scoring drive, they ran that waggle action and the defensive end bit the run fake, and that allowed Olenchuk to get to the outside. This time Gaffney stayed at home. Rayshawn Ellis made the play. So here's Olenchuk backpedaling and dropping it off incomplete.
Another design screen, but
Colburn got taken out on the play.
Yeah, he got caught up in the wash that time. That happens. He got tangled up. It's kind of like a little bit of a dance. He has this spot he has to go to, but he got tangled up his spot with the offensive lineman. They collided, and there was no receiver over there to catch that pass. But everybody's got to be in that right place. This is the timing offense, Emerson. It's got to be very precise. If you look right here to the right of your screen, they allow the defenders in, but right there, the offensive lineman, Elmore and Colburn, just got their feet tangled up.
Kiefer Sims providing pressure for Gaffney as well, and
3rd and 16. You got to come. Coach Knox walks out on the field for this. You got to come up with your Sunday best play right here, 3rd and 16.
Dutch Fork will take a timeout here to talk it over with 2:37 left in the first half. Gaffney scored 17 in the opening quarter And Dutch Fork picked up its only score here in quarter number 2. Let's check in with Dutch Fork head coach Tom Knotts. He'll tell us what's special about this Dutch Fork football team.
Well, we spotlighted these sophomores when I arrived here 3 years ago, and we said to them, this has got to be our state championship year, and it validates all the work that they've put in. They have put in a lot of work, probably more than the other schools where I was. We have a great strength trainer in Noah Dixon, and he has really put them through the paces. We are a very strong football team. We're an agile football team, and they've put in the work. Their body of work is hopefully going to come to fruition Saturday.
I gotta love a coach that feels confident in the agility and the strength of his team. He sounds like a very confident coach. There he is right in the center of your screen, Coach Tom Knotts. Dominant at Independence High School in the Charlotte area of North Carolina. Won 7 in a row at one point, I do believe. Didn't lose a game for 7 years at a school up in Charlotte, so he's used to winning.
Coach Knotts gives me the impression he is a man of purpose, and that's reflected in the play of his teams. 3rd and 16, Dutch Fork. Olenchuk over the middle. This is Berry. Check it, that's German, Brigman German. Got about half, about
fourth, and it's gonna be 4th and 3.5, 4th and 4. Emerson's gonna put Coach Tom Knotts in a situation to make a call here, and Olenchuk comes back in with the play. So take a look at it right here, and German, good job catching the ball, good job heading upfield, no dancing, try to get right to the chains.
4th down, Dutch Fork, 4th and about 4. Olenchuk went hard count. I believe he tried to draw Gaffney off with the inflection of the voice, the hard cadence. Couldn't do it, so he'll take another timeout.
You got to love this Gaffney crowd. They get it. 3rd and 16, they all rise as one on their feet. 3rd and 16, now 4th and 4. They are very loud, very vociferous group coming down from Gaffney.
The weekend of champions here in Columbia this weekend. We started yesterday with the 2A state championship games over at Benedict College. And it was the Dillon Wildcats winning their 3rd state championship in the last 5 years. Jackie Hayes Wildcats putting together a dynasty from the PD region of South Carolina, and Dillon won in convincing fashion, 21-6 over Fairfield Central, and Bishop England makes it back-to-back state championships with a 21-0 win over Abbeville. Both these games were at Benedict yesterday.
Good games, very good games, and very physical contest yesterday.
And earlier today here at Williams-Brice, in overtime, the Greenwood Eagles hoist the championship trophy after they had lost in the championship game each of the last 2 years. They beat Northwestern in OT.
Yeah, and both of those coaches in that game, coming in the shadow of legendary coaches. Shell Dula created quite a legacy up there at Greenwood High School, and Coach Cathcart now puts his name up in, rare air when they're bringing the title up to Greenwood. And of course, Coach Kyle Richardson coming behind Jimmy Wallace up there at Northwestern, a guy who became a legend in the upstate up there in the Rock Hill area. So both those guys thirsty to get their names on the championship trophy, and they both acquitted themselves very well today.
We had another timeout taken here. Key moment in the ball game coming up, 4th and 4. We still got one more game coming later today. It'll be the 3A state championship game. And Stacy, this is a very intriguing matchup to me. Hartsville lost R.J. Rouse, a young man that was on their football team, died during the season this year. A terrible tragedy that struck the Hartsville community. Suffice to say, it will be a very emotional day today for Hartsville, and Union County back in the state championship game for the first time in 10 years under their brand new head coach, Steve Tannehill, who played his college football right here at Williams-Brice. He's a Gamecock from years ago.
Yes, sir. It's going to be a good one. I can't wait.
Now 4th down. Olenchuk able to get away and throw. Batted up and nearly caught, but it's incomplete. And Gaffney's got the turnover on downs. I thought Nick Norris might be able to haul that ball in when it was tipped up into the air.
I'll tell you what, it wouldn't have mattered. Knocking it down gives him the ball probably in a better position than had he caught it. 2 guys there. So not one, but 2 defenders there. This Gaffney team looks like a team that scouted Dutch Fork very well, and they seem to be jumping routes.
Pressure again here on Olenchuk, Stacy. They've made life difficult on Derek Olenchuk.
They have. And, any quarterback can look different when he's rushed and harassed, and he's been absolutely harassed in this ball game.
So the Gaffney defense holds. Gaffney's got 1:48 left until the break. Sideline pass. Caught. And this is number 11, Eddie Studevance.
6'1", 205, the junior. With that 205 to work that time, he lowered his shoulder and tried to take on the defensive back right here. Good job. Way to finish this run. Goes up, catch the ball with his hands, turns upfield, no nonsense. Lowers the boom. Keeps the clock running, though. That's the other thing. He didn't stop the clock.
And a confident throw by Davidson. This throw comes in low, but a catch and a run for Gaffney. 35, 30-yard line. Down the sideline, 20, 10, 5. It's a Gaffney touchdown by number 5, O'Brien Davidson.
Good play call that time. Poor angle taken that time by the secondary of Dutch Fork. They could not get in a position to make that tackle right there. He had the sideline as his friend, and he got outside of everyone. And the ball may have, looks like it might have hit the ground that time. It was ruled to be a good catch. And 6 points later, 23-7 with a pending extra point for Gaffney.
See Davidson running away from Stephen Davis, the Dutch Fork safety.
He's a good-looking player, though, Stephen Davis is.
Yeah, Stephen Davis, just a 9th grader starting at safety all year for this Dutch Fork team, but not able to catch O'Brien Davidson. And Gaffney strikes late in the first half, Stacy. That's a big score because Dutch Fork had worked so hard to try to get some momentum back, and they had cut the lead to 10 after falling behind 7-0, or falling behind 17-0, and now they're right back where they were, an extra point away from being down 17 again.
And they're a minute 28 away from having a half to come back on a really good team. And that's a big mountain to climb. Not that they don't think they can do it. They're very confident in their offense, Emerson, but they got to fix some things at halftime.
Victor Ramirez, the Gaffney place kicker. This kick is plenty high and long, and it's good. Gaffney 24, Dutch Fork 7.
Happy cheerleaders. Gaffney High School, a lot to cheer about right now. Let's take a look at that pass.
Oh, and the fans in the building are looking at the replay, our replay on the big board.
Yeah.
Some moaning and groaning from the Dutch Fork side.
That was an interesting looking reception right there. Yeah, there, chorus of boos after the replay.
And now we're having the football moved to the Dutch Fork 45-yard line. We had unsportsmanlike after the kickoff, or after the extra point rather.
Might be a little frustration, Emerson sinking in, and down 3 scores at this point in time in the ball game, and call that you think might have should have gone your way right now. It could be a time to get frustrated, so they got to settle down if you're Dutch Fork. If you can put a touchdown on the board in 128, Emerson, you'll feel okay going to halftime right here.
There's Jordan Berry back to return. Berry has not been as involved as Dutch Fork would have liked here in the first half. Tom Knotts instructing his deep men to back up, and Gaffney hammers that one through the uprights.
Jordan Berry has 3 kickoff returns, punt returns for touchdowns this season, but he's a dangerous guy in the open field, so you don't want to. He hasn't broken a kickoff return for a touchdown, but he has averaged almost 22 yards per return, so good job getting it out of his hands, kicking it in the stands.
So Dutch Fork has 1 timeout remaining and 1:28 on the first half clock to try to put some more points up. They go 2 tight ends here. Colburn, the back behind Olenchuk, and a delay give to Olenchuk. He's got blocking. He's got 7. He's got 8. He's got 9. Almost 10.
10 would have been better to stop that clock by there. 9.5 keeps the clock running, but they may have to use a timeout right here. Now they're going to go quick snap here.
Good blocking in front by the offensive line. Again, pulling guards. That was Aaron Borden. Flag on the play here.
Big run by Matt Colburn, but the penalty would decide whether the Dutch Fork fans are happy or sad after that play. And here's our indication.
6 man on scrimmage.
Bring that run back.
Coming up at halftime, we'll take a look at the marching band. Stacy, both bands will perform at halftime. David Hamilton down on the field. We'll talk with the two principals from both these schools, and we'll have first half highlights and Honda halftime stats.
No doubt about it, and the stats are going to be very interesting looking here. There's been some big plays in this ball game thus far.
After the penalty, 2nd and 5. Dutch Fork runs again. Colburn with second effort to pick up a first down, and that'll help Dutch Fork because the clock stops on a first down, Stacy, to move the chains.
35 seconds left to play now. Now you got to get down the field, but there's a player down for Gaffney. Going to be a stoppage in play now as the medical folks are going to go and take a look at the player. He's up on his feet now. That's number 34 that was down. He's up now, but that was 34. Rayshawn Ellis, the 208-pound senior.
Ball at 32, first down.
Well, if you're Dutch Fork right here, Emerson, you got 35 seconds to kind of make something happen, or you can, check it in, decide to go ahead and make your adjustments. But either way, it's a mountain to climb against a very, very good Gaffney Indian football team.
So Dutch Fork still with one timeout on the scoreboard here. Just 31 seconds, Stacy. What do you do from your own 32-yard line?
Well, probably shouldn't speculate, but you got to go up top, and Jordan Berry's been the guy. Although the last 2 big pass plays they had, I think German was your guy. You got 2 good receivers out there, and you got a good back in Matt Colburn and Greg. Actually got 2 good backs to catch the ball well out of the backfield. You got a chance to get down the field. Remember, a first down stops the clock. You can get a couple first downs, and you can get, run up to the line of scrimmage, run plays, maybe spike the ball a time or two and save your timeout. You can get down at least and try a field goal, if not a touchdown here, to feel better going into the locker room. And the crowd applauds, and a thumbs up given by number 34 to the senior, Rayshawn Ellis for Gaffney.
Dutch Fork's offense coming back out now as Ellis makes his way off the field. Still the one Dutch Fork timeout. 2 tight ends still in the game for Dutch Fork. Delay give. This is Trey Gregg. Gregg hit initially by number 32, Roderick Oglesby, and that slowed Trey Gregg down. He only picked up about 4. And now Dutch Fork has to burn its timeout.
15 seconds to play. Last timeout. They're going to huddle up around Coach Tom Knotts and the offensive staff over there. And may take a shot here, but either way, Gaffney can't hurt you anymore right now. So the deal is going to be what the adjustments are made in the locker room. I think Coach Tom Knotts has got to come up with a plan to slow down Gaffney, 1, and 2, get Jordan Berry the ball a little more often.
Treated to beautiful weather today here in Columbia. It's very pleasant today, Stacy. Game time temperature of about 70 degrees this afternoon, and just can't ask for a better day weather-wise.
Right.
For the weekend of champions here at Williams-Brice. Gaffney has come in and imposed its will on Dutch Fork in the first half. The Gaffney defense has come up with 3 interceptions and a couple of touchdown runs by quarterback Shaq Davidson. Handoff up the middle. They'll pick up the first down, so stop the clock with 11 seconds here. 10 seconds left in the half. And they'll spike the football here with no timeouts remaining. They're trying to get in range for the old Hail Mary here, Stacy.
Or if they can get a sideline pattern and get out of bounds, they have a kicker that can, has a little leg on him, Emerson. If you can get, a 20-yard route in these 9 seconds and catching a step out of bounds, you can also maybe get 3 on the board.
Gaffney head coach Dan Jones looking on. There's the sideline pass, and Barry will step out of bounds at midfield with 4 seconds left.
Well, now you're in Hail Mary territory right now, and
4 seconds remaining in the first half.
you know, 'tis the season for hopes and wishes. So we'll see if, you know, they get a little something down the chimney right here if you Dutch Fork. They're going to go up top, and I don't know how far Derek Olenchuk can throw the ball, but if it's 50 yards, they may have a shot right here.
They'll put Olenchuk under center. 4 wideouts. And a run play. This is Colburn. Colburn fumble the football. Gaffney picks it up. Oh, and a shoestring tackle. Or Gaffney may have gone the other way, Stacy.
That might have been Elmore, 70. Tripped him up.
Boy, a wild finish to this first half of the 4A Division I state championship with Gaffney leading Dutch Fork 24-7 here at Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia. Some of the sights and sounds of today's championship games here on the South Carolina High School League Network. We'll be back right after this.
At South Atlantic Bank, we believe in sound banking practices. We believe in providing exemplary customer service to every individual and business. We believe in convenience, now at 3 locations to better serve you. We believe in caring for our community, and we're prepared to offer you competitive options, flexibility, and a trusted source to help meet all your financial goals. We believe in you and your future. South Atlantic Bank, people you know and trust.
Time Warner Cable brings you NFL Network and NFL Red Zone. Catch every touchdown from every game, every Sunday afternoon on NFL Red Zone. Passionate about football? Time Warner Cable invents better ways to love it even more. Time Warner Cable. Enjoy better.
Cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer in the country. That's why Lexington Medical Center fought so hard to offer complete cardiac care. Because when this disease strikes, there's no time to waste. Our staff is experienced and exceptionally talented, and we've affiliated with Duke Medicine to create the very best cardiac program. The motivation is what it's always been, the health of the community.
Punch, punch, punch your way to savings. Punch cards are now on sale from Midway Par 3 and Cane Patch Par 3 and Driving Range. For only $125 plus tax, you get 15 rounds of 9 holes or 15 large baskets of balls at either course. No blackout dates. And both courses are lit in season so you can hit the links at night. You must act now to take advantage of this incredible deal. Stop by or call Midway or Cane Patch to purchase your $125 punch card today. On sale through February 28th.
Halftime here at Williams-Brice, the 4A Division I championship game with Gaffney leading Dutch Fork 24-7. The Gaffney defense picked off 3 Derek Olenchuk passes in the first half and 2 first half TD runs by Gaffney quarterback Shaq Davidson. Let's enjoy the Gaffney High School marching band here at halftime of the 4A Division I championship. That's the Gaffney High School Marching Band. Ren Patel, the director of bands at Gaffney High School, the Band of Gold from Gaffney High. We'll get a timeout. We're at halftime here at Williams-Brice Stadium, 24-7. Gaffney leading Dutch Fork at the break. And we'll come back with the Dutch Fork High School Band right after this.
At South Atlantic Bank, we believe in sound banking practices. We believe in providing exemplary customer service to every individual and business. We believe in convenience, now at 3 locations to better serve you. We believe in caring for our community, and we're prepared to offer you competitive options, flexibility, and a trusted source to help meet all your financial goals. We believe in you and your future. South Atlantic Bank, people you know and trust.
Time Warner Cable brings you NFL Network and NFL Red Zone. Catch every touchdown from every game, every Sunday afternoon on NFL Red Zone. Passionate about football? Time Warner Cable invents better ways to love it even more. Time Warner Cable. Enjoy better.
Cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer in the country. That's why Lexington Medical Center fought so hard to offer complete cardiac care. Because when this disease strikes, there's no time to waste. Our staff is experienced and exceptionally talented. And we've affiliated with Duke Medicine to create the very best cardiac program. The motivation is what it's always been: the health of the community.
Punch, punch, punch your way to savings. Punch cards are now on sale from Midway Par 3 and Cane Patch Par 3 and Driving Range. For only $125 plus tax, you get 15 rounds of 9 holes or 15 large baskets of balls at either course. No blackout dates. And both courses are lit in season so you can hit the links at night. You must act now to take advantage of this incredible deal. Stop by or call Midway or Cane Patch to purchase your $125 punch card today. On sale through February 28th.
Halftime at Williams-Brice Stadium. Gaffney leading Dutch Fork 24-7, and we are now set for the Dutch Fork High School Silver Spirit Marching Band under the direction of John Brady. Drum majors are Clark Cothran and Evan Pinson. 100 members in this Dutch Fork band, and they'll be performing Crazy Train and Thriller here on the South Carolina High School League Network. Glad you're with us. The Dutch Fork Silver Spirit Marching Band. Band director John Brady for Dutch Fork High School, and 100 members in this Dutch Fork High School band. We're at halftime. Gaffney leading Dutch Fork 24-7. We'll now go down onto the field with David Hamilton. David, good afternoon.
Emerson, thanks a lot. As we've been able to do with all of our games, we're sitting here now with the principals of these two high schools. To my right, Dr. Greg Owings from Dutch Fork High School, and to my left, Marlene Davis from Gaffney. First of all, thanks to both of you for taking a few minutes to talk to us, and also congrats to your teams for making it to the state championship.
Thank you so much.
Marlene, your team leads the state in all-time state championships, 15. What would a 16th mean to your community?
Well, you know, at Gaffney they think it would be a 17th because there was one that's unofficial, but it's something that's pride, that brings a lot of pride to the community, and as you can see, we brought most of the community with us, so it'll just be a continuation of that pride.
And Greg, your school's won state championships before, but not in football. In fact, your first appearance here in the football state championship. Talk to us for a minute about the atmosphere over there on your side of the stands.
Well, we've just had tremendous crowds all year, a lot of spirit, a lot of pep from all our community, and it's just great to get here. Now we just want to finish one and play the best we can. Of course, we're into a great team against Gaffney, so but we're still excited to be a great venue to play.
Not only do you have a great football team, but also a great academic institution at Dutch Fork, one of the best schools in the state. Talk to us for a little bit about some of the shining points over at your school.
Well, our AP scores were number 5 in South Carolina, top in the country. SAT, 4th in South Carolina. Excellent report card again, and we're just real proud of all our kids that come to work, and academics, athletics, and extracurricular. They're doing an outstanding job.
And Marlene, you also have some leaders in the classroom as well at your school. Tell us a little bit about that.
We certainly do. In fact, we have a ring of honor for academics and athletics in our commons area, and some of these young men that are playing today have GPAs of 4.0 or above. And so, you know, we always encourage them to do a great job, not only on the court or on the field, but also in the classroom, and we've been able to do that.
Well, as both the principals told us, there's a lot to be proud about at Dutch Fork and Gaffney in both the fields and in the classrooms. Guys, back upstairs to you.
They have 10 for.
Thank you, David. Here are your Honda halftime stats, 24-7. Gaffney leading Dutch Fork here at the break. Stacy, we got the turnovers critical in the first half. I'd say that was a key figure. 4 for Dutch Fork, none for Gaffney.
That is the entire story of the ball game. 4-0. If Dutch Fork can, they need to reverse those numbers, and they have a chance to come back and pull a startling comeback if they can flip that number on the turnover side.
Highlights from the first half of action here in the 4A Division I Championship. The first touchdown scored by Gaffney quarterback Shaq Davidson on this run.
Too much room. That's too easy over there. Nobody was home on that right side, and we saw this revisited later on in the first half. But Chuck right here with a pass, and just the route just jumped that time by the defender for the Gaffney Indians, Quan Weeks, and get a field goal right here. That makes at that point the game 10-0, and Dutch Fork still in striking distance, but it gets worse. Wait, there's more. Again, similar play, route jump that time by Husky, number 21. He fumbles, but Gaffney retains possession, and next thing you know, it's 17-0 right here on this play. And that's just speed right there.
Shaq Davidson's second touchdown run of the first half, and Gaffney led 17-0, but Dutch Fork would come back.
Yeah, a little running back screen that time to Greg, to the running back Greg that sets up this play right here that puts them in business, and down inside the 5-yard line goes the receiver right here. And Matt Colburn, the sophomore tailback, finishes it off right there. And they were in business until right here on a little flanker screen. Receiver gets to the sideline at the time. Poor angle taken, and he takes a straight line down the sideline to the end zone, 24-7.
It was O'Brien Davidson with the catch and run touchdown. We're at halftime. Gaffney by 17 over Dutch Fork here on the South Carolina High School League Network.
At South Atlantic Bank, we believe in sound banking practices. We believe in providing exemplary customer service to every individual and business. We believe in convenience, now at 3 locations to better serve you. We believe in caring for our community, and we're prepared to offer you competitive options, flexibility, and a trusted source to help meet all your financial goals. We believe in you and your future. South Atlantic Bank, people you know and trust.
Time Warner Cable brings you NFL Network and NFL Red Zone. Catch every touchdown from every game, every Sunday afternoon on NFL Red Zone. Passionate about football? Time Warner Cable invents better ways to love it even more. Time Warner Cable. Enjoy better.
Cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer in the country. That's why Lexington Medical Center fought so hard to offer complete cardiac care. Because when this disease strikes, there's no time to waste. Our staff is experienced and exceptionally talented, and we've affiliated with Duke Medicine to create the very best cardiac program. The motivation is what it's always been, the health of the community.
Punch, punch, punch your way to savings. Punch cards are now on sale from Midway Par 3 and Cane Patch Par 3 and driving range. For only $125 plus tax, you get 15 rounds of 9 holes or 15 large baskets of balls at either course. No blackout dates. And both courses are lit in season so you can hit the links at night. You must act now to take advantage of this incredible deal. Stop by or call Midway or Cane Patch to purchase your $125 punch card today. On sale through February 28th.
We are just about set for the start of the second half. Emerson Phillips with Stacy Huff. Ryan Johnson, our statistician and spotter today. David Hamilton with us as well here on the SCHSL network. Great day for championship football here in the capital city of South Carolina. And we are halfway through the Saturday weekend of champions here, Stacy. We've got one more game still to come tonight with Union County taking on Hartsville in the 3A championship. That game will be next. And still the second half of this 4A Division I. What's it going to take for Dutch Fork to get back into it? What will it take for Gaffney to slam the door?
Big plays Dutch Fork is looking for right now. In the passing game, that's been a calling card. They got to go up top, strike quickly, and they got to force some turnovers and get the ball out of the hands of Shaq Davidson. He's been dangerous.
Dutch Fork is in white, Gaffney in black and gold. So Dutch Fork kicks it away to Gaffney to start the second half of play. Ground ball kick. Scooped up by the Indians. And they'll work it out to the 35-yard line to start the second half.
And to finish answering your question, what Gaffney has to do to continue the game, things going in their favor, they have to continue to shut down or slow down Jordan Berry. Jordan Berry has, very prolific, 1,900 yards coming into the ball game receiving. If they can keep him quiet, Gaffney will be champions for 2012.
Gaffney lost in the state championship final a year ago to Burns. But Gaffney beat Burns twice this season, including last Friday, to reach the championship round. And now we got a breakaway run right here by High Lake Foster over midfield. Foster 40, 30, pulling down to the 20-yard line, and he'll just cruise out of bounds with a big Gaffney run.
And that is absolutely huge, Emerson. Looks like about a 60-yard run on this play right here. See where the ball started. 45, that's right. They did not have the ball at the 20 right there. But look at him shedding tackles. Look at the blocking up front. And that's just a good job. Not one of his own men out of the way, but great burst of speed, great vision by Halleck Foster on that play, and just a huge run. And that's the last thing Dutch Fork needed.
44 yards for High Lake Foster. And this time it'll be Davidson on a keeper. Tried to make the corner and was met on the edge there, Stacy, and a good defensive play for Dutch Fork to hold him to a short gain.
That was a kind of a slow developing play as he was trying to read the blocks that time, and Dutch Fork, as they have a lot of this ball game, they penetrated on their defensive front and got in that backfield and disrupted the play.
Marcus P. on the tackle, senior defensive back, number 26 for Dutch Fork. 2nd and 5, Gaffney. Shaq Davidson had 2 touchdown runs and 1 touchdown pass in the first half. A pistol look here, Stacy. And a quick pass out to the right. And this is number 2. Brandon Beavis, first down Gaffney.
Dutch Fork defenders over there weren't holding over there, but it was really good blocking by number 8, Xavier Foster. Good job blocking for his fellow receiver right there. Watch the pass go to Beavis. And you'll see number 8 out in front to the left of your screen right there, just on enough. Put a good block on number 28 for Dutch Fork over there, which is Leighton Carpenter, and they are calling the hold. The Dutch Fork sideline wanted it. Blocked a little too good that time. On the far sideline.
We saw the official
holding on the offense, replay second down.
We saw the ref toss the flag in a replay here.
Yeah, and I didn't quite see it right there.
There it is on the edge, right there, number 6.
That is 6. I thought it was 8. That is 6 on the block right there, and if he gets away with it, it's good. That time he got caught with his hand in the proverbial cookie jar. Xavier Foster.
Back it up, 2nd and 14 now, 10 yards from the spot of the foul. And they're going to throw it to Beavis again. Flanker screen on the other side of the field. They throw it to Beavis out to the right on the previous play. This time they throw same play, but to the left.
Good job blocking that. Good job running. I don't want to get the wrong guy in trouble. That was Sperling with the holding call last time. But on this side right here, they throw it over here, and it gets a good block by 5, O'Brien Davidson. Take a look right here. No drop needed. Really could have been a lateral.
Might have been.
Just a long handoff is all it is. And good job running that time. Got just enough blocking up front to push ahead for 9 yards.
Beavis leaves 3rd and 1 for Gaffney. Design run by the quarterback. Davidson on the short side of the field with another flag down. He picked up the first down. It would have been 1st and goal, but this will come back.
They're throwing some hankies out there now. I tell you what, this drive could hinge on which way the penalties go, because there seems to be one out there every play, and it looks like another holding call going against Gaffney coming back this way.
Holding on the offense, yes. 10-yard penalty at the end of the run.
They mess around and hold and get away with it and they don't call it, you might get a touchdown on this, but the refs are all over it right now, and Gaffney sideline a little anxious, wanting to know what's the 4-1-1 on all the flags.
And it is a spot foul, so they'll back it up to the 15-yard line. We'll replay 3rd down. It'll be 3rd and 5. The hold occurred downfield, so 3rd and 5 for Gaffney. Shaq Davidson bouncing and looking. Short throw. Caught by Foster. Foster working for a Gaffney first down.
Well, he did a great job of keeping his balance that time. Great agility shown that time by Halleck Foster. It looked like he was going down, and he fought to keep his balance and moved ahead for enough yardage to get those chains moving. Take a look right here. Too much time for Shaq Davidson, folks. He can't have that much time. He's going to hurt you. Right there, looks like he was going down, Halleck Foster, and regained his footing.
Now Foster takes a handoff, and he's met by a couple, making 3 Dutch Fork defenders.
Got a little team meeting on him that time, and it's a name we've called pretty often at the bottom of that pile that time. Number 86 in the green and white over there. That is Omar Staley, the 6'4", 267-pound junior defensive end.
2nd and goal, Gaffney at the Dutch Fork 5. And a look to the sideline. They may be changing a play here. And now Gaffney takes time out with exactly 3 minutes gone by in the second half.
Yeah, something didn't look right to them that time, and they're taking this possession very seriously. They in, time to pay dirt land, and they can really put this thing way out of look right here, right out of touch. They score a touchdown right here.
Dan Jones, the head coach at Gaffney High School, 18 years as an assistant before becoming the head coach at Gaffney High, and now he's in on what's special about this Gaffney Indians football team.
Well, certainly we started off 3-3, and what's special is that even after that adversity, and our kids were able to fight through that and believe in each other and stay together as a unit and continue to fight on. And we won the region, which gave us the #1 seed, which was a big thing to have because that got us home seed playoffs. So we had all 3 games playoffs at home, and being at Gaffney, that's big fan support and confidence level. So, and that's probably a big reason we're here today.
Out of the timeout, Gaffney's got 2nd and goal. Davidson again, this time gathered up around the waist, and the Silver Foxes buckle down.
Good job by the defensive front again. At times they look very impressive, overpowering Gaffney's offensive line at times. Take a look right here, just white jerseys just beat the Gaffney blockers to the point of attack, pushing them back. That's number 46, Trent Simpson maybe on that play, and no, Omar Staley once again. Good job that time.
Winston and Acton helping out. 3rd and goal, Gaffney. Davidson taking a walk around. Actually, that's Foster. It's Halleck Foster in the Wildcat. This is Foster. Foster stopped short. Dutch Fork's defense did what it needed to do.
Omar Staley once again dragging him down from the back that time, and as I was alluding to earlier, Gaffney taking this possession very seriously because they smell blood in the water. They feel like they can put 7 up right now. They may can, take some of the fight out of Dutch Fork. Hold them to a field goal right here. Dutch Fork is going to still feel like they have enough time to run their regular offense and come back in this ball game. So good stop by the Dutch Fork defense that time.
So Victor Martinez will come on and try a 21-yard field goal. Good snap and spot, and this kick is good. Victor Martinez with his 2nd field goal of the afternoon, and Gaffney now with a 20-point bulge over Dutch Fork.
3 touchdowns are needed. I can get 1 at a time, so Dutch Fork's offense has to put together a drive to answer. That's a good look at that kick. A little knuckleball going in there. Great camera work, guys. Wasn't that high, wasn't that deep, but it got over those crossbars that time. It still counts for 3 points.
Martinez congratulated by Brandon Beavis, the holder.
Good job. Good snap. Good hold. Good job by Ramirez kicking that in that time. Victor Ramirez, 21-yard field goal. There's a 10-play, 60-yard drive that killed 4 minutes and 28 seconds on the clock.
Victor Ramirez with a couple of field goals today, and Gaffney is perfect on all of its kicks. 2 for 2 on Field goal tries, 3 for 3 on points after. And Stacy, we talk about this every year at the Weekend of Champions. The place kicking game can be an adventure in high school football. Extra points are never guaranteed.
No, they're not. There's almost like a bonus, almost like a gift when you get them. Some teams don't even try them in high school football.
Short kickoff here by Gaffney, and Dutch Fork with a short return near the 40-yard line.
So a couple teams doing our regular featured game of the week on Time Warner Cable. So a couple teams this season that never even pretended to try for it, went for 2 every time. And it cost you. It can cost you if you don't convert on those 2-point conversion tries.
So Gaffney very pleased to have a solid kicker like Victor Ramirez. And now here's Dutch Fork. Stacy, it has not been their day to this point, but 3 TDs will put them in the lead here with conversions.
One play can change momentum. That's what they're looking for, that one big play.
Don't have to get it all back on one play. Pool in motion for the Silver Foxes. And a handoff to Trey Gregg, trying to swing it out wide. Nice work by Gregg to hurdle a man and pick up 6 yards.
Yeah, that was a well-blocked play and a great design play, and he really wasn't much away from taking that to the house. That was very key, and I think Dutch folks will come out with some really good plays here. But you're right, they have a huge mountain to climb. You know the best way to eat a whole elephant? One bite at a time.
Pool in motion again for Dutch Fork. Matt Colburn stopped short on the first effort. He gave second effort, and he's about a yard short of the first down.
They'll bring up 3rd and 1, and very physical. This game has been in the trenches from the very beginning, Emerson, and that play is no different. Take a look right here. Look at the collisions. They pulled the guard and the center that time, Dutch Fork did, and that play was just disrupted by the front on the defense that time of Gaffney, and just a good surge that time by the black jerseys.
3rd and short, Dutch Fork. 2 tight ends are in the game. Pool in motion. And a delay give to Colburn. Big hole to run through, and he's got the first down and plenty more.
Needed 1 and got 6 that time. Colburn is a hard runner, not the biggest kid in the world, but he runs hard. And again, the physicality of this game is amazing. It dropped back like as if he was going to set up the pass, and just a delayed draw play to the tailback that time. And Colburn does a good job finishing the run. We have a player down for Gaffney. I think he was going to get a little medical attention there as they hold up play, and the team, Dutch Fork team, goes over to the sideline to huddle with Coach Tom Knotts.
Good block by that Dutch Fork offensive line. 60, Preston Little pulled and paved the way for that Colburn run. And the injured player for Gaffney is number 13, Rico Smith. So that'll give Dutch Fork an opportunity to huddle up on its sideline and talk strategy here. They're down 27-7. 4 first half turnovers have killed Dutch Fork today, making their first ever appearance in the state championship game. And we have one more game for you today on the South Carolina High School League Network. Our final championship game of the weekend, the 3A state title, Hartsville and Union County. Jeff Calabrese, the head coach for the Red Foxes, got that ball club 14-0 this year, and Union County, coached by former Gamecock quarterback Steve Tannehill, in his first year at the helm of the Union County program. They were 5-5 during the regular year, but they've cranked it up a notch in the playoffs, Stacey. They are playing for the state title tonight also.
I like to use the phrase, in like a lamb, out like a lion. They came into the playoffs like a lamb, and they've roared all the way to the championship game. They can come out like a lion with one more victory. 5-5 doesn't matter if you win all your games in the playoffs, including the championship game.
You know, one of Union County's losses was to this Gaffney team. Union County gave Gaffney a pretty good game in the non-conference portion of the schedule. That's the first 5 games of the year for the 3A schools, and Gaffney had a fight from Union County. As we get a look at Rico Smith coming off the field gingerly for Gaffney. So we'll play 1st and 10 here for Dutch Fork. Matt Colbert, 10th grader, on another delay give, and he's got good yardage again, 14, 15 yards.
That's the exact same play they just ran for the first down, Emerson. It was more successful this time than last. Got 6 yards on it before. This time they get a little more than 10. The referee is motioning. Let's move those chains. And that's a good job. Good job of blocking up front that time and a good tackle that time for Gaffney. Might have been a touchdown saving tackle.
Aaron Borden throwing a key block on that run for Matt Colburn. Another Dutch Fork first down. Matt Colburn's got 7. He's got 8 more.
Same play again. Derek Olenchuk backpedals as if he's taking a 5-step drop and turns and hands the ball, puts it in the belly of the sophomore running back, and the guys up front are really firing off the ball right now. Offensive linemen know when you're going, when you know you're running the ball and you get it clicking, they like that. They know what they're doing every time, and they get to load up and really hit somebody and drive people back. And the offensive line is really doing well for Dutch Fork on this drive.
Colburn took a shot on the end of that run. He leaves the ball game. Number 21, Trey Gregg, the senior, is back in. This is Trey Gregg. Trey Gregg down to the 11-yard line.
And this is what I'm talking about. The offensive line fired off so good. They were blocking 5, 6, 7 yards down the field, pushing people back. And they got the Gaffney defenders on roller skates right now, Emerson.
Stacey, it looks like Dutch Fork has figured out that it can run on Gaffney a little bit. The Gaffney defensive line is considered to be one of the strengths of their football team. But, you know, Dutch Fork's got that big line, and they're leaning on Gaffney a little bit right now.
Downhill.
First down just outside the Gaffney 11. Gregg remains in at running back, and he'll take a handoff from Olenchuk and work his way down the left side. And he is about a yard short of a 1st and goal situation.
That drop back is getting the linebackers and the defensive linemen off balance just enough to help them allow them to get time to get on those blocks. And they put pads on them, and downfield blocking is key in this drive. Number 18 with a key block, Jordan Berry, the receiver, affecting the game without catching the ball. That's what a good senior leader should do for his team.
Gregg almost tripped over his own man in the backfield there, but was still able to push it forward. And now Trey Gregg, touchdown, Dutch Fork.
Well, that'll get your attention. That'll get the momentum back on your side. Extra point will make it 27-14, and Dutch Fork can pick their heads up a little bit after that one.
It's amazing, Stacey. Dutch Fork came out throwing the football to start the ball game today, and since they have gone to the run, they have scored 2 touchdowns, and they have found a way to move the ball with some success on this Gaffney defense. So this ball game has not been settled yet with 4:21 to play. Now Tyler Bass for the extra point for Dutch Fork, and it is good.
Now you got to go get the ball back if you're Dutch Fork's defense. It's a tough mountain to climb because you got a pretty physical Gaffney offense about to take the football now. You got both sides of the team has to work together. The defense has to now complement the offense and get the ball back. They need a 3 and out because you don't want time to become of the essence. You want to go ahead while there's still a lot of game left. You want to go ahead and get this thing within a 1-score ball game. So pressure still on the defense of Dutch Fork. And the band played on.
A methodical Dutch Fork drive.
They're going to win.
On the ground. Trey Gregg capping it off. An 8-play, 60-yard drive. Stacey, I don't believe they threw it on that drive.
I don't believe they did either. And, you know, why? Why do so? But they are setting it up. They believe me. They will revisit the past. This is who they are. And again, I do believe before it's all said and done, Jordan Berry, that senior who had a great block just then, you know, you got to look to him at some point because he's the guy that's got you this far.
So Tyler Bass gets it teed up for Dutch Fork. The kick down to the 9-yard line. Hylick Foster on the return. He made the 20. And that'll be about all. Spotted here at about the 22-yard line.
They were ripping that ball. They're trying to rip that ball out too. Dutch Fork knows what I know. They still need a turnover. They need to flip that. Their 4-0 deficit in turnovers. They need to get 1 or 2 if they're going to get back into this ball game.
So Shaq Davidson and Hylick Foster back out for Gaffney. Gaffney led 24-7 at halftime. Dutch Fork trying to hang around. Short pass might have been deflected. It's incomplete. It's out of bounds.
The pass is intended for JoJo. That's number 25 when they play JoJo McGill. This kid that pass is intended to, just a little too tall for him. Take a look right here. He watched him all the way. He eyeballed him. That ball just came out high out of his hands.
Looked like it slipped out of the release a little bit there for Shaq Davidson. It was not deflected, but it is incomplete. 2nd and 10. They go pistol look again. Stacy, quarterback in the gun with a running back behind him. Hylick Foster cuts and starts upfield. He's got a couple, maybe 3.
Some of the Dutch Fork defenders now imploring their crowd to get up, get loud. They sense it. They sense Uncle Mo. You know your uncle, Emerson. Uncle Momentum. And there they are right there. They're standing up. And now the Gaffney fans answered. They're standing up right here below us. It's a pep rally on state title property.
Maybe the loudest this building has been today. And movement up front.
I wish those lights weren't on.
Dead ball. False start on the offense. 3rd down.
The noise may have affected that play a little bit, Emerson, but legal procedure, false start penalty that time on Gaffney, and they're behind the chains right now.
3rd and long now, 3rd and 12 and a half. Davidson releases as he throws and it's caught. Oh, Stacy, a great play by Shaq Davidson to get it into Beavis.
That was a great play right there under pressure. Momentum, look at it, was switching uniforms that time, and Shaq Davidson used his legs to buy some time and threw off the wrong foot back across his body, and wide open. Beavis was running down the field, and great catch and great concentration to take it after the hit and not fumble that ball.
Hylick Foster with a carry to the Dutch Fork 44-yard line. A huge play and a potential backbreaker for Dutch Fork, Stacy, with Davidson stepping up and finding Beavis downfield. He was close to crossing the line of scrimmage, but he stayed back enough and completed the throw on a very difficult pass. Just a difficult situation to fit that ball in there downfield. Now Davidson working his way outside. Both of his touchdown runs came on a similar play, Stacy, where he took off the right side.
You got to set the edge of Davidson. You got to get out there and give him a boundary right there. Nobody gets outside of him right here, and he was able to create a play out of where it really looked like no room. Great positive run that time by the junior quarterback.
And it is a Gaffney first down. Stay in the pistol here with 4 wideouts. And now Hylick Foster steps up and to the right of Shaq Davidson. Foster took a big shot and did well to hang on to the football.
Good job that time. I can't see who disrupted the play initially, but the man who cleaned it up was number 41 right there on your screen, Mick Lusk. Watch the defender dive in right here and blow this play up right here. It was number 6. Walter Roberson came in and then disrupted the play and then cleaned up by Lusk. Great job by the front for Dutch Fork.
Mick Lusk finishing up Roberson's work. Home run ball, got a man wide open.
Wide open.
Touchdown Gaffney, wide open in the George Rogers Boulevard end zone.
Yes, sir. And he could have run all the way to George Rogers Boulevard because there was nobody there. Looked like a little bit of a busted coverage, but great vision that time by Shaq Davidson. He recognized it. Got the ball in the air, threw a beautiful pass that time, hit his receiver in stride, way to catch that pass. Sometimes a hard pass to catch is when you're that wide open, especially with state titles at stake. And Steady Vance did a good job watching that ball in and getting the sure touchdown.
Victor Ramirez for another point after here for Gaffney. And it's good. 34-14 Gaffney. And I'll take you back to that third down conversion. Stacy Huff, as we get another look at the touchdown pass. Blown assignment perhaps. Nobody around Study Vance.
Yeah, he's just wide up. He's just running free. And his man right there, number 5, running with him. O'Brien Davidson knew it. O'Brien Davidson signaled a touchdown while the ball was still in the air. Watch 5 right here in the screen coming. He has his arms up. He's signaling a touchdown. That's beautiful. Good job. Good camera work, guys. Awesome throw. Now you're back to a 20-point disadvantage if you're Dutch Fork, and still a lot of time to play. You got to go ahead, strap up the offense, and get it cranking.
7-play, 78-yard Gaffney touchdown drive. .231 off the game clock. And Stacy, I go back to the 3rd and 12 pass completion. It looked like Dutch Fork might be able to get off the field. But
that was huge.
Shaq Davidson made sure that did not happen, and they scored just a couple plays later.
Yeah, you know, Okamoa jumped to Dutch Fork, but momentum is the next play. And that play turned it right back to the favor of Gaffney.
Lane Ecton to the 33-yard line.
Return to the 33. The return was by Lane Ecton. First and 10.
Dutch Fork band over there.
Ball is at the 34.
They saw themselves on the big screen here at Williams-Brice.
And that's a big one, too. Multi-million-dollar piece of machinery right there.
Derek Olenchuk and the Dutch Fork offense tried out one more time. Late in the 3rd here. Trey Gregg
Get close to the 40.
picked up about 3. Stacy, I wonder if Dutch Fork begins to try to look to Jordan Berry. Gaffney did a great job taking him away in the first quarter, and Dutch Fork really has not tried to throw it much since then. They've been largely a running team.
They have, but time ticks away, and it's getting late. So Jordan Berry has been their answer man all season, about 2,000 yards worth of receiving yardage.
Poole is in motion. Trey Gregg on another handoff with a cut to the right and back to the left, and he falls forward down to the Gaffney 42-yard line.
Excellent job running that time behind some really, really superior blocking. And that running game is, that's not a problem. The running game is there for Dutch Fork. Take a look right here. The late handoff they've been using the entire second half. This third quarter, that play has been their bread and butter. And the senior Trey Gregg does a good job just picking and choosing where he runs, showing great vision as a running back.
Olenchuk's got some time. Now the pocket breaks now, but he's able to escape. No, he's not.
Number 9 there on the play there. That's just great speed that time by Quan Weeks. It was like a lion versus an antelope on the Serengeti that time. He just walked him down, Emerson, and calf roping time. He calf roped him right here. Watch this. He sees him, and Olenchuk thought he had some daylight, but oh no, my friend.
Now you see Weeks, top of your screen, number 9.
Yeah, he just stalks his prey, and right there he goes in and calf rope.
Olenchuk tried to run, thought the knee had never touched, but he was ruled down. Weeks with an interception in the first half for Gaffney, and he's played well tonight. And we have reached the end of the third quarter. 34-14. Gaffney High School 12 minutes away from the 16th state championship in the glorious history of their high school football program. We'll put 4 fingers on the air. We'll come back for the final quarter of action on the South Carolina High School League Network.
At South Atlantic Bank, we believe in sound banking practices. We believe in providing exemplary customer service to every individual and business. We believe in convenience, now at 3 locations to better serve you. We believe in caring for our community, and we're prepared to offer you competitive options, flexibility, and a trusted source to help meet all your financial goals. We believe in you and your future. South Atlantic Bank, people you know, and trust.
Time Warner Cable brings you NFL Network and NFL Red Zone. Catch every touchdown from every game, every Sunday afternoon on NFL Red Zone. Passionate about football? Time Warner Cable invents better ways to love it even more. Time Warner Cable. Enjoy better.
Cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer in the country. That's why Lexington Medical Center fought so hard to offer complete cardiac care. Because when this disease strikes, there's no time to waste. Our staff is experienced and exceptionally talented. And we've affiliated with Duke Medicine to create the very best cardiac program. The motivation is what it's always been: the health of the community.
Punch, punch, punch your way to savings. Punch cards are now on sale from Midway Par 3 and Cane Patch Par 3 and Driving Range. For only $125 plus tax, you get 15 rounds of 9 holes or 15 large baskets of balls at either course. No blackout dates. And both courses are lit in season so you can hit the links at night. You must act now to take advantage of this incredible deal. Stop by or call Midway or Cane Patch to purchase your $125 punch card today. On sale through February 28th.
Start of the fourth quarter for the 4A Division I championship ball game here at Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia. Gaffney has capitalized on 4 Dutch Fork turnovers. Derek Olenchuk's got Dutch Fork 2nd and 12. And they continue with a steady diet of Trey Gregg and Matt Colburn. It's amazing to me how Dutch Fork came out throwing, and they have completely abandoned the passing game at this point, Stacy.
It just hasn't been there for him. It's not there. And this thing with this, look at that tomahawk chalk there. Tomahawk chalk by the Gaffney faithful. And I'm wondering right now, who's backing Gaffney? Who's watching Gaffney right now? There's got to be tumbleweed blowing through the streets of Gaffney, South Carolina tonight.
Everybody from Gaffney's here at Williams-Brice Stadium.
Yes, sir.
3rd down, Dutch Fork. They run it again. Trey Gregg tries to break a tackle after he picked up 4, but he will be stopped short of the 1st down, and that'll bring up 4th down for Dutch Fork. 4th and 6 is what Dutch Fork is faced with from the Gaffney 39-yard line.
Talk it over a little bit. Coach Knott's in the green t-shirt and short sleeves.
Gaffney took time out here. They want to get set defensively for 4th and 6. You know, they're keenly aware, Stacy, that if they can get a stop on this down with under 11 minutes to play and a 20-point lead, they're going to be sitting pretty.
You can see this Gaffney fans really get loud if they make a stop right here.
Olenchuk on a straight drop, firing, incomplete.
To the receiver that time, Emerson was number 88, Dion Frazier was the intended receiver that time, and just a great defensive play that time. Looked like it might have been Quan Weeks again. Okay, it was number 5 with the breakup. Let's give him proper credit that time. It was O'Brien Davidson, one of their standout players. He's a player that has a big reputation and that's really growing, a junior, 5'10", 160 pounds, and that's huge, Emerson.
Yeah, and Davidson and Study Vance have played both ways today. You know, it's rare that you see a 4A club start kids on both sides of the football, but that shows you the confidence that Dan Jones and the Gaffney staff have in those 2 young men, O'Brien Davidson and Eddie Study Vance. They start on both offense and defense. And that's commonplace for the smaller schools, Stacy, but not at the 4A level.
No, not necessarily. You're right, because they have so many kids to choose from. bigger rosters, bigger student body. But every now and then you get those special kind of kids that can do that. And they strung this play out very well in the Dutch Fork defensive line, and they don't mind that though. Gaffney doesn't mind stringing plays out as long as they stay in bounds and keep the clock running. They're fine with that.
Winston and Roberson on the tackle for Dutch Fork. 2nd and 13, Gaffney. And they're going to take their time here, Stacy. Going to let that play clock run down. They're going to take up all the time they can. Davidson.
It's a lateral.
That's a backward pass.
That is a lateral.
No whistles. That will make it out of bounds. And we got a good view of that from our location up high here in the press box at Williams-Brice. Clearly a backward pass.
No doubt about it. This might have been set up a double pass. I'm not sure, but he was going to run that. They had a blocker out in front of him. He was going to run that, but the play wasn't going anywhere anyway. Lane Ecton has sniffed it out. But they lose about 5 yards of where he would have been tackled because of the lateral, and it goes off his hands. A little bit of a break that time for Dutch Fork.
3rd and 22 now for Gaffney. Shaq Davidson stepping up. They threw a little pump fake there, trying to freeze the defender. Ecton not buying it, forcing him out at the 34.
Tell you what, he's got some really quick feet, man. Got it nice feet. Like a wide receiver, like you would expect as a wide receiver, but as a quarterback, he's very dangerous back there because the agility is amazing. Watch the footwork right here. When you have a guy like this in your backfield, you can make something out of nothing because he's usually unaccounted for. He just steals a couple of yards that time right there and gets out of bounds safely.
Punt off the side of the foot here for Gaffney, and they do get a slight roll on the end of the kick, and it'll be down to the 39. So Dutch Fork will get the football back here, but they are running out of time. Stacy Huff, 9:31 left.
Yeah, they need a big play like right now.
Friends, we invite you to pick up a DVD of this championship. You can buy a DVD of this game and any of the South Carolina High School League championships at our website, SCHSL.TV. You can choose from other sports as well: football, basketball, competitive cheer, volleyball, soccer, wrestling, swimming, and more. And Dutch Fork breaks off a long run right here with Trey Gregg. They continue to stick to the ground game.
No doubt about it, and I'll tell you what, it's looking real good. That's well blocked. That's a huge hole for Trey Gregg, and he shows a very good burst of speed getting through that hole and finishing that run off very well. Possible touchdown saving tackle made that time by the Gaffney secondary.
Elmore and Borden blocking up front for that Gregg run. Poole moves in motion, and this time nothing doing for Trey Gregg. Dropped right away by Ty Byers.
Ty Byers is a big old kid too, man. Number 7 right there on your screen. 6'3", 336-pound senior. And he moves the crowd right there now. A lot of agility. He did a good job of just shoving the center out of the way and using his speed. And he does have a good bit of speed, using his speed to get there and bring down the ball carrier.
Loss of a couple. Now shotgun Olenchuk. Pass into the right flat, nearly picked off. They got double coverage on Berry.
Yeah, they've had him bracketed pretty much the entire ball game, Emerson, and it's just been nothing happening over there for the young man. And good job by the linebacking core and the corners and safeties who all been out in pass coverage on Jordan Berry, doing a good job of keeping their assignments and not letting him break free and get a lot of room to operate tonight.
So now 3rd and 12. Olenchuk pressured and sacked.
Jalen Miller, one of our spotlight players of the ball game, has 26 sacks on the season coming in here, and that's one right there. And he's coveted by many schools. We talked about it before the game. He has just about everybody in America, half the SEC, the ACC, after this kid, and he's a brilliant player, a Shrine Bowl selection. And watch this speed right there and burst, and wraps up. Olenchuk almost caused a fumble.
The 27th sack of the year for Jalen Miller, who earlier this week was named South Carolina High School Football Lineman of the Year by the South Carolina Coaches Association. and he was also the Big 16 lineman of the year this year. So incomplete pass intended for Jordan Berry. And Stacy Huff, for those tuning in expecting to see the Jordan Berry show today, Gaffney has just not allowed it to happen.
No, the defense has a lot to say about that. Obviously they had a lot of time to scout and know about this kid, and great job by the defensive staff of Gaffney. Jordan Berry, 3 catches for 24 yards. Not a usual night for him, but let's not be fooled. He's a legitimate receiver, folks. He's big time. He'll play on Saturdays. And he's been a dangerous kid all season long. He's really good, but sometimes when talent plays talent, somebody's got to win, somebody's got to lose. And the Gaffney defense just played well, especially where it concerns Jordan Berry.
So Gaffney takes over on downs here with 7:45 to play. Jordan Berry caught 122 passes during the season coming into this championship game. We saw him earlier this year against Goose Creek, which won a state championship last year. Berry caught 14 for 235 and a touchdown in that game. And
he looked dominant in that ball game.
Nobody has slowed him all year until tonight.
That's exactly right. And good play by Halleck Foster in the last play. He slid down to keep from going out of bounds. That's a high IQ play. He wants to keep the clock running, and instead of going out of bounds, the young man slid down and went down in bounds and gave himself up to keep the clock moving.
That is a smart play. That'll take another 25 seconds off the clock. And now Davidson runs it right. Short yardage, no gain on the play.
They'll take that as well. That's going to bring up 3rd down. But they get the ball at least one more play. And the way things are going, by the time Dutch Fork can get their hands on the ball, you're talking about just a little more than 5 minutes to be left in the ball game.
Right. Gaffney's not concerned with picking up yards at this point. They're just going to call it close to the vest and keep that clock running. Gaffney jumped out to a 17-0 first quarter lead if you joined us late. They led 24-7 at halftime. They have extended that lead here in the second half.
They call a timeout right here, right before the clock ran out.
We talked earlier this week with Gaffney head coach Dan Jones. Asked him what he likes about coaching.
Well, just the fellowship with the kids and the other coaches, and you get to see them in some in tough situations, some sad times. When you lose to Wade Hampton and you're at Gaffney, and that's not supposed to happen. You see the heartbreak in the kids. You also get to console them and tell them that things are going to look up, and tell them there's brighter days ahead. But also when you have the big victories on Friday night there, get to see their happiness, and you get to mold young men and teach them that life's not always going to be perfect, and you got to be able to take the good with the bad and move on. It's kind of what we told them Friday night during the Burns game. We were down 13-0. You got to get ready for the next snap. Something good's going to happen. We're going to make a play. Go out there and play football. You can't dwell on the past. You just got to keep moving forward. And hopefully our coaching staff does a good job of teaching the kids, hey, life's like that. You're going to have up and downs, and hopefully the kids have learned from that.
Gaffney throws incomplete on 3rd down, so they'll punt it away here. Stacy, Dan Jones needs to be given credit. I'm not sure we've talked enough about the fact that Gaffney football appeared to be in a state of disarray early in the year. They're not accustomed to starting 3-3. He made changes all over this football team, and they have not lost a game since.
And that includes moving Shaq Davidson from wide receiver to quarterback. That was huge. That's a live ball, folks. That ball touched a Dutch Fork player. We may have a touchdown. They're going to rule it down as a muff. It's going to be Gaffney ball, but it's going to be Gaffney ball inside the 5-yard line, I do believe, Emerson.
Cannot advance the muff, but Gaffney can certainly recover it, and that is what they have done.
To the credit of the Dutch Fork followers and the faithful, not a lot of folks have left that side of the field over there. A lot of folks are hanging in with them. That play may do it right there, but they've hung in with those guys, and they're very proud of this football team. The referees are having a little ref huddle. It looks like it's going to be Dutch Fork ball on that play.
Right, so Dutch Fork winds up recovering. I don't know what the ruling was there, Stacy. Clearly Gaffney had it and ran it into the end zone.
That's what I thought I saw.
Nevertheless, Dutch Fork comes out firing. Short pass caught at the 10-yard line. There's Jordan Berry.
4th catch of the ball game.
Talking about Dan Jones, you know, Gaffney opened the year 3-3 with losses. And they got hammered at the reservation by Northwestern to open the year. They struggled against Union County, won that game on the road. They lost at home to York 34-19, and then 2 weeks later they lost at Wade Hampton.
That was the one that's what broke the camel's back right there.
And after the Wade Hampton loss, a game in which they only scored 10 points, they moved Shaq Davidson to quarterback. They also moved some defensive linemen to offensive line, and they moved some defensive backs to wide receiver. And that has been the championship recipe for Dan Jones. Now, I think you've got to give the head coach credit, Stacy. When you make drastic changes like that and they reap dividends the way they have for Gaffney, credit squarely on the shoulders of the head coach.
Yeah, he did what he thought he had to do for his team, and it pays off on this championship Saturday right now. They're 4 minutes and 45 seconds, Emerson, away from holding that trophy up that they felt like eluded them last season. They were ranked as high as number 9 in the nation last season and did not win a state title. So that was a bitter taste in the mouth of the folks up in Gaffney. There's a sweet to them today, and they're here in full throat, folks. They've been loud all day. And I think this party's going to carry on even after this ball game is over.
Dutch Fork deserves credit as well. This is a football team making its first ever appearance in the state championship game. Dutch Fork High School opened in 1992. And they had some good teams under Bill Kimry, who was the longtime head coach. In fact, Dutch Fork's only had 2 head coaches. Stacy and Tom Knotts is in his 3rd year now, and he took the groundwork that was laid by Bill Kimry and really has pushed this program to another level.
Yeah, Bill Kimry was there a long time, football coach and athletic director, and yeah, Tom Knotts gets the mantle next, and he's trying to take it to a championship level, and he gets them to the game this year, and expect to see this Dutch Fork team back here in the future.
Dutch Fork riding a 9-game win streak into this championship game, and you know, Stacy, they just were taken out of what they like to do. They were not able to get the ball to Jordan Berry early, and I think they didn't discover that they could run until after they were already down 17-0, and it's made for a long afternoon for this Dutch Fork offense in particular that came in averaging 41 points per ball game and almost 500 yards of offense per game. In fact, only twice this year was Dutch Fork held to less than 28 points. So right now, 14 would be their low for the season.
Yeah, it has been a dominant performance by, again, the Gaffney defense, but more so than not, the offense put Dutch Fork at odds because they could jump out to that big lead thanks to turnovers and just never look back.
Here's Olin Chuck. He's got a man at the 40-yard line. Brigman German.
Good catch by German. He's had a good ball game. Senior playing his last game in high school.
Brigman German has contributed today, and this is his longest grab in a ball game, letting me know that Dutch Fork still competing. Saying guten tag to the crowd here at Williams-Brice.
Exactly. A lot of heart. New quarterback in the ball game.
Deep ball headed down out of the reach.
Quarterback number 14 in the ball game for Dutch Fork, Tate Fant, 6'2", 176-pound sophomore. Youth movement now. There's a flag down on the play, but Tate Fant is in the ball game now. Left-handed quarterback throwing it for Dutch Fork.
Flag on the play here with 2:39 to play, and
holding on the defense.
The defensive hold in that time, probably on the receiver, but Dutch Fork has the ball on the Gaffney side of midfield. They're in striking range now. They can change that scoreboard one more time here.
Pressure And a strike to Jordan Berry. Berry gets down at the 34-yard line with a Dutch Fork first down.
His numbers are not going to look bad for a normal receiver today. He has about 5 catches now. He's probably somewhere around 50, 60 yards receiving, but Jordan Berry's put up big numbers all year, and he's just been bottled up a little bit, but he's still fighting hard. A lot of character in this Dutch Fork team.
Pass caught and a tackle made inbounds on Drew Williams. So the clock will run here. We'll move inside of 2 minutes remaining. Pass right side, caught again.
Just shy of the sticks though, Emerson. The clock will still keep moving there. That was no first down. That's Frazier on the catch. Big tight end, number 88 there on your screen. Deion Frazier, 6 foot 176, a junior. He'll be back next year. A lot of these kids come back from Dutch Fork.
3rd and 1 now for the Silver Foxes as we wind it down here at Williams-Brice. And a first down run. Matt Colburn picking up the first down, and we invite you to stay with us after the conclusion of this game. We will be here for the state championship trophy presentation, and for the 16th time it will go to Gaffney High School.
Yeah, they're a little familiar with the situation, how it works when you win a championship. They know all the moves.
Short pass caught again, this time by Colburn, and the clock will run. Stacy, this is Gaffney's 32nd championship game appearance, and it'll be their 16th state championship all time. That leads the state of South Carolina, and interesting to me that they're 16-16 in state championship games.
Exactly.
Dead even.
They'll take that though. They'll
Absolutely,
take it.
yeah.
Take it. 500 record in that many games.
Gaffney won 3 in the 20s, 2 in the 30s. Pass called on the right hash mark. This will set up 1st and goal. Stop the clock with 31 seconds left.
Jordan Berry on the catch. Excuse me.
Yeah, on the first down here. And Gaffney won 3 state championships in the 20s. They won 2 in the 30s. Goodness, I got to count. 4 in the 60s. 1 in the 80s, 2 in the 90s, 3 in the first decade of the 2000s, and this will be their first state championship of the 20-teens, as it were. Dutch Fork head coach Tom Knotts told us what he likes about coaching.
What I like best about coaching, I just enjoy the Friday night and Saturday afternoon atmosphere. I like to see the kids set goals and attain these goals. And I'm a guy that believes in structure and discipline. So when I get them as 9th and 10th graders, I like to see the change in them, what they become as seniors. And hopefully we're instilling some values in them that are going to help them later on down their life. Football is important and it's fun, but there's nothing like learning the structure and discipline that football presents to them.
Tom Knotts, 7 state titles in North Carolina. He's going to come up short of winning his first state championship in South Carolina, but Stacey, you don't have to look very closely to see the type of impact that he has made on the Dutch Fork community. People have really rallied around him, and they are fully behind the job he's doing at Dutch Fork, and for good reason.
No doubt about it. And they continuously pounded the rock, and we got a touchdown there finally, and that's a way to keep fighting there. And I believe that's Jordan Berry, probably the last touchdown of his awesome senior season here in high school football in South Carolina. One of the best wide receiver seasons we've ever seen in the state of South Carolina by Jordan Berry this year.
Berry left off the state Shrine Bowl team. A lot of folks not sure how that happened, but he will be in the North-South All-Star game. Stacey, you think you catch 122 passes in one season, maybe you get on the Shrine Bowl team.
One would think so. One would think so. A lot of strange things happen.
It did not work out that way for Berry this year, but he will play at the North-South game next Saturday. And here is the touchdown pass to Jordan Berry, caught at the 1, and capping what's been one of the greatest high school football seasons by a wide receiver in state history.
No doubt about it, and that's the way to finish it. They fought to the end. He fought on that play to get in the end zone. A lot of determination shown by Dutch Fork to continue to play. They wanted to get one more in here. They were beaten by a better team today. They knew that, but they kept fighting hard and playing hard. And that's kind of some of that stuff that coach was just talking about in that interview, that discipline and that fight and the things you need later on in life. And they got him. There you go. Coach Dan Jones got set up by one of his linemen, and they came from the backside, a little stealth attack that time, and got him with the Gatorade. It's cold out there.
This will be Dan Jones' first state championship as the head coach at Gaffney, and you know what an important moment this is for him. We mentioned earlier 18 years as the assistant coach at Gaffney, now in his third year as the head coach. But Stacy, we're going to talk with him after the game, and I'm sure that he will talk about his kids and how happy he is for them. And there's the 2-point run by Trey Gregg with just 21 seconds left in the ball game. 34-22. That'll make it look a little more respectable in the newspaper tomorrow morning.
I think that's what they call a cosmetic touchdown. Yeah, a little mascara right there.
The Band of Gold from Gaffney High School getting ready to get their championship celebration on. Looks like it's already started.
Yeah, I think your party's going on right now, and I tell you what, the town of Gaffney is going to be lit up with this one, and they're very excited. The band played on, and a lot of reasons to be excited. There was a state championship. Not only the fact there's no school tomorrow, but when they do go back to school, they'll be state champs. After they eluded them last season, Gaffney once again at the top of their division of 4A football in the state of South Carolina. And look at them. They can feel it. They can sense it. A lot of joy right there in that sideline. And they see the camera.
Wind it down now. Another state championship for Gaffney High School. Stacy, Somerville is second with 12. Burns High School has 11, with 8 of those coming in the last 11 years. And Woodruff High School has 10 state championships as well.
You spoke earlier of the Big 16 schools. This is the Big 16th championship for Gaffney. That'll do it.
Victory formation for the Gaffney High School Indians. And the 2012 4A Division I state championship will belong to Gaffney High School. The City of Champions has another state championship trophy.
Look at that jubilation. As sad as they were last season, they're that happy this year, and it's very sweet to the Gaffney Indians right there, 2012 4A Division I state champions.
And the Gaffney seniors avenge last year's title game defeat up in Clemson by capturing the crown today at Williams-Brice. It's got to feel good for the Gaffney Indians.
No doubt about it. Look at them celebrating down there, and team's going to line up and shake hands here in a minute.
We talked about the 3-3 start this year, Stacy, but what a difference a couple of months makes. Gaffney changes their lineup. Dan Jones recognized that some changes needed to be made. Moved Shaq Davidson to quarterback, made some other changes to the football team. They beat Gaffney. Gaffney beat Burns twice, and now they win the state championship. Let's go down onto the field. Coach Jones, how you doing? Emerson Phillips upstairs. Talk about the changes you made to get to the championship, and how does it feel to win your state title?
Can you hear us, Coach?
No, I can't. I heard one and then someone else.
Okay,
the changes that we made.
Congratulations, Coach. Talk about the changes you made in your lineup to get this team set for a championship run this season.
Well, we had to move one of our receivers in at quarterback because we weren't able to get it to Shaquille Davidson, and you've seen how well he does when he gets it in his hands. But we also made some defensive linemen were willing to move over to the offensive line, and we had a couple of DBs willing to come to receiver for us. So it wasn't just one change, it was a lot, but certainly getting the ball to Shaq every time we snapped the ball is a tremendous benefit to this team, and we turned it around once we were able to do that.
Coach Jones, talk about winning your first state championship at Gaffney. How's that feel for you?
Well, it feels a lot better than last year, I can assure you that. But, more important than that is the smile on these kids' faces. I'll get over it, and these kids, there's a last chance for several of them. Hopefully I'll get another chance, but it's certainly a great feeling.
Coach, you start the year 3-3, and you don't lose another game the rest of the year. It says a lot about your kids.
Well, they were able, we felt like defensively we were pretty good up front and in the secondary, and felt like we had 7 or 8 returners there. So we knew we were sound on defense and felt like if we could just do a few things on offense, they could keep us in a lot of games. And they were able to do that, and we were able to generate some points. So certainly I'm proud of those guys.
Congratulations, Coach. Go celebrate with your team.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Dan Jones, head coach from Gaffney High School. The Gaffney Indians, your state champions for 4A Division I here in 2012. State championship number 16 for Gaffney High School. Emerson Phillips and Stacy Huff will be back with more here at Williams-Brice.
Buy a DVD of this championship and any of the South Carolina High School League championships at SCHSL.tv.
Thanks for the deal you got my sister at your holiday sales event. Shotgun! Rides in her Civic are full of valuable information.
Tim's parents are gone. Party!
Interesting. Plus, my iPod connects to the car. And since she saved so much, she's going to be a lot nicer. Love, Samantha.
More happiness with every Honda during Happy Honda Days. Get a great deal on the 2012 Civic at your Honda dealer.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you. One shot at this.
The 2012 South Carolina High School League Football Championships are brought to you by Time Warner Cable and by Honda. More happiness and standard features with every Honda during Happy Honda Days.
Gaffney defeats Dutch Fork for the 4A Division I state championship, and we will now join our public address announcer, Jim C., for the trophy presentation.
Trey Gregg, 54. Zaid Sivender, 97, Janar Winston. And now your state runners-up high school champions, Class 4A Division I. Here they are, the Dutch Fork Silver Foxes. Congratulations for a superb year. And now, at this time, we recognize the high school dignitaries for the 2012 state champions, Gaffney High School. Those dignitaries are Marlene Davis, Principal, Dr. Quincy Moore, Superintendent, Eric Blanton, David Smith, Alan Rupp, Amanda Moss, Assistant Principal, and school board members Mike Ellis, J.J. Surratt, Barry Bailey, Jim Touchberry, Ron Garner, Robin Duncan, Alan McIntyre, Cheryl Smith, and Billy Blackwell. And now to present the 2012 State Championship Trophy for Class 4A Division I is Jerome Singleton, Commissioner of the South Carolina High School League, Paul Anderson, president of the high school league, and Jimmy Husky, the 4A representative. And now the head coach, Don Jones, and his players represented on the field and throughout the game. They are Derek Gaudlock, number 18. Number 19, 42 is next. Bryson Willis, correction, number 42, not represented on the roster, unfortunately. And then we have
Gaffney High School, your 2012 4A Division I state champions. How sweet it is. State title number 16 for the Gaffney Indians to lead the state of South Carolina. That's going to wrap it up for 4A Division I, but we are not done here at Williams-Brice. Still to come, Union and Hartsville in the 3A state championship. Pick up a DVD copy of this game at our website, SCHSL.tv. I want to thank our crew and my partner, Stacy Huff. I'm Emerson Phillips. We'll see you again on the South Carolina High School League Network.
At South Atlantic Bank, we believe in sound banking practices. We believe in providing exemplary customer service to every individual and business. We believe in convenience, now at 3 locations to better serve you. We believe in caring for our community, and we're prepared to offer you competitive options, flexibility, and a trusted source to help meet all your financial goals. We believe in you and your future. South Atlantic Bank, people you know and trust.
Time Warner Cable brings you NFL Network and NFL Red Zone. Catch every touchdown from every game, every Sunday afternoon on NFL Red Zone. Passionate about football? Time Warner Cable invents better ways to love it even more. Time Warner Cable. Enjoy better.
Cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer in the country. That's why Lexington Medical Center fought so hard to offer complete cardiac care. Because when this disease strikes, there's no time to waste. Our staff is experienced and exceptionally talented. And we've affiliated with Duke Medicine to create the very best cardiac program. The motivation is what it's always been, the health of the community.
Punch, punch, punch your way to savings. Punch cards are now on sale from Midway Par 3 and Cane Patch Par 3 and Driving Range. For only $125 plus tax, you get 15 rounds of 9 holes or 15 large baskets of balls at either course. No blackout dates. And both courses are lit in season so you can hit the links at night. You must act now to take advantage of this incredible deal. Stop by or call Midway or Cane Patch to purchase your $125 punch card today. On sale through February 28th.
A beautiful night at Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia, South Carolina for the South Carolina High School League High School Football Weekend of Champions. Hello, everyone. I'm David Hamilton. We are here at the weekend, or shall I say weekends, of champions for high school football here in South Carolina. Joining me is Stacy Huff, one of our other announcers here. And Stacy, we have 6 football games already complete with state champions. 1 more to go. We crowned 2 1A champions last weekend, and then so far this weekend we have crowned 4 state champions.
Yeah, it's been a long couple of weekends. 1 game left to play, but it's been some happy campers starting last week. And today, just starting with today, we had a great barn burner finish earlier today as Greenwood took out Northwestern in the first game in overtime, something we don't often see in state championship level play. And then just a few moments ago, you saw a valiant effort by Dutch Fork High School, but just a little too much Gaffney Indians at the end, and they take home the title in Division I 4A this year.
Let's start off with the games last Friday, both of the games in Division I and in Division II of Single A football. We have Christchurch winning their second straight state championship, 27-18. They scored 17 unanswered points in that ball game. And then in the other 1A game, Stacy, Cross getting it done against McCormick, 38-26.
Yeah, just too much. Devontae Shepard, the junior running back, had 10 carries for 166, 3 touchdowns. The very first ever championship in the history of Cross High School.
Yes, sir. And then last night across town at Benedict College, we had a Class 2A Division I battle between Dillon and Fairfield Central, with Dillon coming out on top 21-6, their third state title in the last 5 years.
Big game by Anthony Blue. 24 carries, 208 yards, 2 touchdowns. Very physical performance by Dillon. Fairfield Central again fought valiantly. Just too much physicality, too much size on Dillon, and they wore them down at the end.
In the other Class 2A game, in the Division II game, Abbeville Panthers took on the Bishop England Battling Bishops. Bishop England wins that one 21-0, their second straight state title.
New kid on the block, Bishop England back-to-back. They repeat as champions, and Abbeville, the team that's been known to win titles in the state of South Carolina. Bishop England now announces themselves as one of those teams you talk about in reverential terms as far as being a power in the state of South Carolina in 2A football.
And as you mentioned, our first game here today was between Greenwood and Northwestern, a rematch of the 2010 state title game. Greenwood getting it done in overtime, 31-24. Been to the state championship 3 years in a row, lost in 2010, lost in 2011, but win in 2012.
And revenge is sweet, and if it's served cold, it was 2 years waiting to get cold. It chilled for 2 years because last year both of these teams that make it Greenwood did. This year they avenged the loss to Northwestern in 2010 by winning the game today. And I tell you what, it was a very dramatic game, but Greenwood coach Gene Cathcart gets his first on his coaching resume, so that's big for him.
And then the game that just ended, the Class 4A Division I game between the Gaffney Indians and Dutch Fork Silver Foxes. Gaffney getting it done 34-14.
Yeah, Gaffney just too physical. They felt they were denied last season, and they come back this year after a 3-3 start. Changes made by Coach Dan Jones, and he moves Shaq Davidson, the key move him from wide receiver to quarterback after the third game of the season. He puts up 1,500 yards of total offense this year. And in the championship game, he had the big game, 2 touchdowns, 12 carries for 91 yards in the game, and a big game by wide receiver Eddie Sturtevant, who also had a touchdown catch as well.
Yeah, and as you said, Shaq Davidson just in control of this game, passing the ball and running the ball. The first state championship for head coach Dan Jones, and he joins us now on the set. Coach, let us first congratulate you for winning your first state championship as head coach at Gaffney High School. Now, you were a longtime assistant at the school, came to the state championship last year, came up a little short against Burns. How good does it feel now to know that you're taking the state championship trophy back to Gaffney with you?
Well, certainly a great feeling, when you look in the kids' eyes and you get to see the big smile, and that's what it's all about. And it was tough last year, felt like we were the best team in the state, and the best team doesn't always win, and it's tough for kids to accept. And I think the closest game we had last year was 21 points up into the state championship. So this year, kids had a lot of close games and started out 3-3 and fought through that, and got to Columbia and ended up finishing the deal. So it's certainly a great feeling.
Coach Dan Jones, first of all, congratulations, Coach. And how much did you guys talk this season or in the off season and leading into this season about last year's time, about this time, about a year ago, the disappointment of losing that game? How much did you talk about it with your team?
Very little, if any. That was a new team. We had a Shrine Bowl quarterback and a Parade All-American wide receiver, and they were gone. And, but we were about probably 70-30 pass last year, and this year we're about 70-30 run. So basically it's a different team. But, we had a lot of our defense coming back, and it was strong last year, and we felt like we'd be able to rely on them till we could get some things going on offense. So we were able to do that.
Coach, you touched on that you started the season off 3-3. Real turning point there. Season could have gone sour, or you could turn things around, made some moves, putting Shaq Davidson back at quarterback. Now you've won 9 straight. What did you tell your team at that point when they were 3-3 to turn this season around and ultimately win 9 straight to win the state championship?
Well, certainly we had, like I said, we had 8 guys coming back on defense, and I knew those guys weren't quitters, so they just looked at each other and took it upon themselves to keep fighting, and they were, a couple of those were willing to move over to offense and help us. We had a defensive lineman who unselfishly moved over to offensive line, and we had a DB to come and help us at receiver. So we not only had the quarterback change, we had some other changes, and the kids believed in each other and fought through that, and we were we'd only lost one region game. We felt like, we were still in the hunt, and if we could win the rest of them, we could win the region. And that's what we ended up doing. And, confidence level, of course, soared, and we got us here.
Well, Coach, again, a phenomenal performance put on. Talk about Shaq Davidson. A couple of big runs in the first half. You took advantage of, the ball going to Jordan Beard. You guys seem to be prepared for the ball going there. Jumped some routes, got the ball in short field, and Shaq Davidson took it from there. Talk about his performance.
Well, his performance was great, but also, like you said, we had a couple of linebackers tip the ball and a couple of pick passes, and those guys are good athletes too, and they gave us some short fields, and when they did, and Shaq finds a little hole, he can make something happen. He was right behind Quinshad last year in receiving until he tore his ACL, and he missed the last 6 games. So, that kid's been around some big games, and he's a big-time player, and he's going to make plays for us, next year hopefully. So,
how crucial were those interceptions in the first half?
Well, I think it just gave us some momentum, and that's for sure, and it gave us a short field. And when we stuck one in the end zone and got a field goal on the other one, and, when you see the spread teams that we see in the upstate, we prepared for a lot of the passing game. The counter trap that they run, Coach Knox does a great job on the offensive line, and had we not got out like we did, we might not have been able to control that.
Well, Coach, once again, we talked about, bittersweet, and you talked about dealing with the young men, dealing with the ups and downs with them. Last year you saw the bitter defeat. This year you keep them up. Now you got to make sure they don't get too excited for next season. You got to bring them back down next year. So what's going to be your approach going into next season?
Well, my approach is to get them up as high as they can. They deserve it. They lost last year after being 14-0. We'll worry about next year when August comes around. The kids will start working out and all, but we're going to celebrate. These things are too short, so let's celebrate.
All right, Coach, one last question for you here. A long time in this division particularly, the state championship has gone through Burns. Either Burns wins the state championship or you have to beat them to get it. Now you've beat Burns, you won the state championship. Have we had a changing of the tides, if you will? Now is Gaffney in control of 4A Division I?
I wouldn't say that. Certainly Burns is definitely the leader the last few years. They've been, 7, 8, 9 times. I don't keep up with all the stats. But, it's our time right now.
That's right.
And,
yes, sir.
And Dorman's always in there battling, and we got to have some other teams to step up.
All right, well, Coach, we appreciate you joining us here on the set. Somebody needs to get you a towel. I saw that Gatorade bath you took a while ago.
It's pretty nasty.
Still got some wetness on the khakis right there, Coach. Yeah. It's cold out here. Make sure you don't get sick out here now.
It feels pretty good right now.
I know. You'll take it, right? I'm sure.
Yes,
Congratulations
sir.
once again.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you very
And
much.
Dan Jones wins a state championship in his 3rd year at Gaffney. Again, quarterback Shaq Davidson. What a performance. 8 of 11 passing, 165 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 12 carries for 91 yards on the ground as well.
There's some numbers to look at right there. 393 yards by Dutch Fork. That's a lot of yard totals, but the turnovers hurt him early in the ball game. Look at that, 4-0. Second from the bottom of your screen, folks. That's your ball game right there. 4 turnovers for Dutch Fork. Clean slate over there for Gaffney, 0. And they win the ball game with only 18 minutes of possession time.
And as Stacy said, 3 early picks by Gaffney really controlled this one. And from there, Gaffney was just rolling in this ball game, winning their state record 16th state championship in their 32nd appearance at the state championship game. Coming up after the break, I will talk to the South Carolina High School League Executive Director Jerome Singleton. But before we head to break, we want to remind you that all of our games can be caught live streaming at the South Carolina High School League Network. Again, that's www.SCHSL.tv. We'll be right back in just a few moments.
At South Atlantic Bank, we believe in sound banking practices. We believe in providing exemplary customer service to every individual and business. We believe in convenience, now at 3 locations to better serve you. We believe in caring for our community, and we're prepared to offer you competitive options, flexibility, and a trusted source to help meet all your financial goals. We believe in you and your future. South Atlantic Bank, people you know and trust.
Warner Cable brings you NFL Network and NFL Red Zone. Catch every touchdown from every game, every Sunday afternoon on NFL Red Zone. Passionate about football? Time Warner Cable invents better ways to love it even more. Time Warner Cable. Enjoy better.
Cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer in the country. That's why Lexington Medical Center fought so hard to offer complete cardiac care. Because when this disease strikes, there's no time to waste. Our staff is experienced and exceptionally talented. And we've affiliated with Duke Medicine to create the very best cardiac program. The motivation is what it's always been, the health of the community.
Punch, punch, punch your way to savings. Punch cards are now on sale from Midway Par 3 and Cane Patch Par 3 and Driving Range. For only $125 plus tax, you get 15 rounds of 9 holes or 15 large baskets of balls at either course. No blackout dates. And both courses are lit in season so you can hit the links at night. You must act now to take advantage of this incredible deal. Stop by or call Midway or Cane Patch to purchase your $125 punch card today. On sale through February 28th.
We are live at Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia for the South Carolina High School League High School Football Weekend of Champions. I'm David Hamilton, and joining me now is the South Carolina High School League Executive Director, Jerome Singleton. Jerome, we talked earlier. It's called the Weekend of Champions, but it's kind of the Weekends of Champions. We had some football state championships last weekend and then this weekend as well, culminating just a great season of South Carolina high school football.
Absolutely. We're coming to the close of our football season, and it's been a great 15 weeks of football. The teams that have made it to the finals have done a fantastic job. The teams that have played the regular season have done a fantastic job, and I couldn't be more proud.
We crowned 2 1A champions last weekend. Then last night we crowned 2 2A champions. Earlier here today we had a 4A championship, then another 4A championship. All we got left is a 3A championship. Football season's coming to an end.
Football season's coming to a very close end, but it's been exciting. Both of those previous Fridays, and exciting today. And again, those first 2 games. And this game, I'm looking for nothing other than another excitement. These kids play real hard.
Absolutely. They lay it all out on the field. And a great turnout by the fans. I mean, we have basically the lower deck on both the home side and the away side here at South Carolina, an SEC team stadium full for high school football.
They show that they are rabid about the football here in South Carolina, but they're doing it for the right reason. They're coming to actually support these young gentlemen because they work so hard, and they really are passionate about making sure that these young gentlemen have support.
But we haven't seen any fans get out of hand or anything like that. We've seen great sportsmanship from all the athletes on the field and their fans in the crowd. And I know that's something that pleases everyone at the South Carolina High School League, the show of sportsmanship, since that is one of your main values with the organization.
Truly, and that begins with the school system. The principals, the athletic directors, and the coaches, they all preach that and continue to speak to that, and they speak to that in their community also. And they ask the community to play a part in helping to promote sportsmanship. We have several public service announcements that made. We talk about sportsmanship over the radio when we have these sports night talk, it's sportsmanship, and so that's the staple for what we do.
And you mentioned communities, so a great transition there to community service. I know another thing you're real big on is giving back to your community.
Absolutely. That's something we started about 5 or 6 years ago, and it's really worked well for us. When we first started, we probably had somewhere in the area of about 600 to 700 people that participated. Now we can boast that we got over 10,000 athletes participating in some form of community service, giving back.
And athletics and academics mesh well together. Many of these great athletes are also great students, and I know that pleases you as well.
Oh, no doubt. If you come by our office, it actually states at the front door, academics and athletics, partnerships in education, and that's what we look at. It's a strong partnership, and we realize that academic takes precedence because that's where it starts, but we want athletics to play a great support to it.
But many life lessons are learned on the playing fields, and they learn a lot of things from their coaches, just like they do their teachers.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Again, these things that are pretty tough to teach in the classroom, but they can learn it on the field, and they're life lessons. And those are the things that we want them to walk away with. When they leave athletics, we hope that they become better citizens.
Now, getting back to football here, as you talked, we've already crowned 6 football state champions. We have 1 left, 1 trophy right here for 3A. All of our games can be seen on the South Carolina High School League Network, and it's just a great production. Talk to us a little bit about getting the coverage out there for the state championship games.
David, I can't express enough, the work that Play On Sports has done to help us to get this out to the public. It's not only shown within this state, it's shown across the nation, but it's also shown across the world. I mean, anybody that can pick up the internet has the opportunity to watch these kids play. And they've got relatives all over the place. Our people that are still out there in the military, that are across seas, well, they get an opportunity to see their friends play or see their relatives play. Play On Sports has stepped in and have stepped up and have done a fantastic job to help us to promote what we always believed and what we know is good about South Carolina.
And as you mentioned, if someone's outside of the viewing area, maybe they're outside of the state of South Carolina, but they want to see these games, they can catch them streaming live on the South Carolina High School League Network website, www.SCHSL.tv. As Jerome said, a lot of great things for the state of South Carolina and the South Carolina High School League to be proud about here in Columbia. We have one more game, and we'll preview that coming up right here after the break.
Buy a DVD of this championship and any of the South Carolina High School League championships at SCHSL.tv.
We can get a player up here. Oh, that's good stuff. All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1.
For more information on how your school can join the Play On School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
Dear Honda, thanks for getting Dad a deal on his Accord at the holiday sales event. He's so happy about Pandora, he wasn't even mad I ruined his shirt, and then tried to fix it. The rear view camera means the reindeer might make it till New Year's. Plus he saved so much, it's been a great year for presents. Sincerely, Pete.
More happiness and standard features with every Honda during Happy Honda Days. Lease the all-new Accord for zero due at lease signing at your Honda dealer.
Contractors, homeowners, when you need to rent it, Ahern Rental is the place to get it. With over 38,000 rental items, Ahern is the Columbia area specialist for aerial work platforms. Whatever the size of your job, Ahern Rental has the right equipment for you. At Ahern Rental, we promise to always provide the youngest rental fleet, quality service, and the finest professionally trained staff in the rental industry. Ahern Rental. Call us today.
The 2012 South Carolina High School League Football Championships are brought to you by Time Warner Cable and by Honda. More happiness and standard features with every Honda during Happy Honda Days.
And welcome back to the South Carolina High School League High School Football Weekend of Champions here at Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia, South Carolina. Hello, everyone. David Hamilton here with you again. A great night for football. We have some great weather, and we've had some great games here today in the stadium. 3 state championships here today. 2 have already been crowned. And to talk to me about today's schedule, the 2 that have already taken place and the one coming up, is the man who called play-by-play for our last game, Emerson Phillips. Emerson, thanks for joining us here. A great day of football here for South Carolina for the state championships.
It really is. We couldn't have asked for better weather this weekend, as you mentioned, and just a showcase day for high school football here in South Carolina and for the South Carolina High School League.
Now, we started the day off with the Class 4A Division II championship between Greenwood and Northwestern. And that game went into overtime, something you often don't see in high school football.
Yeah, the Kansas City shootout is awful fun, and that's what we had today with Greenwood notching a victory over Northwestern. Northwestern had beaten Greenwood for the 2010 state championship, so Greenwood is in the winner's circle tonight, and well-deserved for them. They had needed overtime to do it, and they played a very solid football game. Northwestern scored late and converted a 2-point conversion with a minute to play to put it into overtime, but Greenwood did what they had to do in the overtime session to come away with the 4A Division II state championship, and so congratulations to them.
Absolutely. And in the Class 4A Division I game that you just called a few moments ago, Gaffney wins their 16th state championship, 34-20 over Dutch Fork.
Yeah, I think this would be a real feel-good state championship. Gaffney's had a lot of them, 16 of them, as you mentioned, but I'm not sure that any of them have felt much better than this one because they were beaten last year in the championship game. They were undefeated going into that game last year. They really felt like they had a special team that was worthy of a state title, but they didn't get it. And this year they started 3-3, maybe a little hangover from that championship game defeat a year ago, and Coach Jones changed the team drastically, and Gaffney comes back. They don't lose another game the rest of the year. And here they are, 2012 state champions for the 16th time. Another state championship trophy headed back to the City of Champions, Gaffney, South Carolina.
And sitting between us here is the Class 3A state champion trophy that will be crowned here in a little bit. That game's going to get underway in a few minutes between the Hartsville Red Foxes and the Union County Yellow Jackets. That should be a good ball game as well.
Yeah, this is an interesting matchup because we've got a very emotional situation for Hartsville. We talked earlier about the fact that Hartsville lost R.J. Rouse, a senior lineman for the Hartsville football team, collapsed during a game middle part of this season and died while reaching the hospital there in Hartsville. An unspeakable tragedy for the Hartsville football team, the entire Hartsville community. So they're playing this season in his honor, in his memory, and this is a very emotional night, to say the least, for Hartsville High School. And for Union County, they have not played in a championship game in 10 years, and they're here this year with first-year head coach Steve Tannehill, who won 3 state championships as the head coach at Chesterfield High School. And Tannehill obviously was the starting quarterback for the South Carolina Gamecocks on this very field. And from what I'm told, he has not set foot on this field since his playing days. He wanted to wait until he got the chance to coach here in a state championship game. And his Union County team started 5-5 this year, and they have made some changes to their defense, and they have whooped everybody in the playoffs. They've won every playoff game on the road. In fact, they have not had the benefit of a home playoff game, but their quarterback is a Shrine Bowl selection, Keaston Smith, as electrifying a player as we have in South Carolina. We're taking a look at Union County's playoff victories. Again, all these wins coming on the road. They beat Wren. They beat a Greer team that was one of the tops in the state, in the upper state this year in Class 3A. Nobody goes to Dooley Field and wins in the playoffs, but Union County did that, did it convincingly, and then they won the quarterfinal matchup over an AC Flora team that had not lost to a team from within the state of South Carolina this year, and last week over Daniel 20-14 to clinch their bid or their position here in the state championship game. So to me, as many storylines for this game, the 3A game, as any we've had this weekend, and this should be a great way to cap the weekend, David.
As you mentioned, Steve Tannehill, still a record holder here at South Carolina. He knows a thing about playing quarterback and apparently coaching quarterback as well, as you said, Shrine Bowl selection. Keaston, I was going to say Keaston Smith. Sorry, forgot his last name there for a second. Keaston Smith has over 4,000 yards passing, so we can expect the Yellow Jackets to air the ball out tonight, right?
I think they will. You know, they have Smith, and they have a very talented group of wide receivers. He's got more than 50 touchdowns total this year. He can run it, he can throw it, but I think he's a better passer than runner, and with the talent that he's got at wide receiver, I would think he would be looking to get all these players involved tonight. So they're a very high-scoring offense, and Hartsville, a little bit more defensive-minded football team perhaps, but, you know, Hartsville is a ground-and-pound type of team. They're going to run the wishbone out there, and they're going to grind out yardage. This team can run for, 500 yards easily if Union County is not ready to stop the run tonight. I wouldn't expect Hartsville to tally that quite high a total this evening against a very good Union County team, but Hartsville's done it on several occasions this year. They blanked Southside to open the playoffs. Swansea was 9-1 this year. This is a very good Swansea team that Hartsville beat at Kellytown Stadium in Hartsville in the second round. And Hartsville has played the toughest schedule in the state, I believe, in Class 3A. I don't think there's any question about that. Union County might be second, but Hartsville's played some outstanding teams this year, particularly in the playoffs. Hartsville beat Swansea, I mentioned 9-1 in the regular season this year, and SCHSL had the best season in school history. SCHSL was unbeaten going into that game with Hartsville. That was a third-round playoff game. Hartsville beat them handily, 40-13, and Strom Thurmond, I think a lot of folks felt like might have what it takes to knock Hartsville off, but they were not able to do so. In fact, Hartsville trailed early in that game, but rallied to beat a very talented Strom Thurmond football team. So both these teams are battle-tested. This is going to be a real fist fight here tonight.
And Emerson, as you were saying, Hartsville keeps it on the ground. It's all about the Treys, right? Trey Rogers and Trey Samuel running the ball, correct?
Yeah, that's right. The two Treys are the featured ball carriers for this Hartsville offense under head coach Jeff Calabrese, and It's going to be very exciting to see how Union County matches up with them. They know that Hartsville's going to run it. So the question is, can Union County stop it? Every team in the state knows Hartsville's going to run, and no one has been able to stop it. Tonight, that challenge falls to Union County.
Now, before we preview the 3A game some more, let's look back at the game you just called between Dutch Fork and Gaffney, with Gaffney winning 34-14. I believe we have some highlights here to look at from the game this evening. As we said, Gaffney winning their 16th state title, 34-14. There's Shaq Davidson on the quarterback keeper. Emerson, this man looks like he controls the offense. He knows what he's supposed to do, running it and passing the ball there, getting in the end zone for Gaffney.
Yeah, and Davidson started the year at wide receiver, and Coach Jones decided they were not getting him the football enough. We mentioned they started 3-3, so Coach Jones said, we're putting Davidson at quarterback, where he played as a 9th grader for the JV team, and here he is at Williams-Brice, looking outstanding. 2 first-half touchdown runs, long runs for the Gaffney Indians. This is the second TD run. I believe that was a 19-yarder. And Gaffney jumped on Dutch Fork to take a 17-0 lead. Matt Colburn answered with a Dutch Fork touchdown. Colburn has been incredible this year. Colburn ran for 400 yards in the Lexington game earlier this year. And then a play late in the first half that really helped Gaffney out, the long run after the catch by O'Brien Davidson, no relation to Shaquille Davidson. Victor Ramirez hit a couple of field goals tonight. Gaffney outstanding in all phases of the football game. Trey Gregg with a late touchdown run there for Gaffney to try, or for Dutch Fork to try to keep them in the game, but Gaffney jumped out 17-0, and they really were never threatened in this ball game. Here's the wide open touchdown pass. It was really the exclamation point. Davidson going up top. I believe that was Eddie Studevance, the receiver there for Dutch Fork, wide open for the touchdown. And then a late TD in the final minute for Jordan Berry, who finishes the year with 129 receptions. And some of the final numbers from this ball game, all you got to do is look at the turnovers here, David. 4 for Dutch Fork, none for Gaffney. The yard Dutch Fork actually outgained Gaffney, but the 4 turnovers just killed Dutch Fork. And credit to Gaffney's defense. They were keying on Jordan Berry early in the game, and that's when the Dutch Fork turnovers came. Olenchuk was picked off 3 times tonight. Gaffney had a superb defensive game plan, and they were ready to play tonight. And no surprise, really, that Gaffney came out on top here. What was surprising was the convincing nature of their win.
And when we had Coach Jones here on set after the win, he said, as proud as he was of his offense, he mentioned those 3 interceptions of Olenchuk in the first half really sealed it. Gaffney telling that team that they're not going to be able to throw the ball against us.
Yeah, and that was clearly scheme. It was strategy by the defense. They had linebackers covering passing lanes to intercept 2 throws in the first quarter intended for Jordan Berry. Gaffney knew that Berry had to be involved for Dutch Fork to have success today, and they did their best to take him away, and that's why they had a couple of key interceptions in the first quarter that helped them to that large first quarter lead.
Now, they limited Jordan Berry, but a guy who really stepped up his game today, Trey Gregg, the running back for Dutch Fork. That young man just kept getting the rock and taking a pounding and getting up and running again.
Yeah, Trey Gregg is a senior leader for Dutch Fork. He was a starting running back for much of the season. He was injured early in that Lexington game that I talked about a moment ago, and that was when Matt Colburn came in and ran for 400 yards coming in off the bench. But Gregg has been with the program a very long time, and a key contributor to the success that this team had this year. So no surprise to see him run well. He just ended up sharing time in the latter part of the season because Matt Colburn was so incredibly productive, even though he's only in the 10th grade. But good team that Tom Knotts has put together here, and Dutch Fork very happy to be playing in the state championship game for the first time. I know they're disappointed that they came up short tonight, but still a thrill to play in this marvelous venue and to be showcased on statewide television for the state championship round. It's a real feather in the cap of any team when they have an opportunity to play for a state championship.
And I'm glad you mentioned Tom Knotts. It is his first trip to a state championship at Dutch Fork, but this man knows a lot about winning. 7 state championships at Independence High School in North Carolina, and it looks like he's got Dutch Fork on the right path to success here in South Carolina, and maybe one of these days he'll be taking one of these home with him to that school as well.
Certainly wouldn't be a surprise if Tom Knotts ends up hoisting the championship trophy at Dutch Fork. An incredible record of success that he had at Independence High School in Charlotte, built that program into a real national powerhouse. They won 107 consecutive football games during his time at Independence. He won 107 in a row. So he handpicked the Dutch Fork job. He looked at some other schools in South Carolina and in other states, from what I understand, and decided that Dutch Fork was the job that he most wanted, and he ended up getting the Dutch Fork job and got him in the state championship game this year. And they're going to lose a lot of good seniors off of this year's team, but he has brought a new discipline, a new attitude to Dutch Fork football that certainly figures to serve them well in the years to come.
And Dan Jones, 18 years as an assistant at Gaffney before he gets the head coaching job. In his second year on the job last year, brings an undefeated team to the state championship. Unfortunately for them, they lose to Burns. But this year, they are the state champions.
Absolutely they are, and you got to give credit to Dan Jones. We talked about Gaffney feeling a hangover maybe after the loss to Burns in the championship game a year ago. That was such a bitter pill for Gaffney to swallow. They come out this year, they start 3-3, and that's not what we expect from Gaffney High School football. They are traditionally, one of the top several powers in the state, regardless of classification, and nobody's used to seeing Gaffney at 3-3. So Jones moved Davidson to quarterback. He made some other changes to the team, and they never lost another game the rest of the year, including 2 victories over Burns and a rather convincing victory over a very good Dutch Fork team here today. So it got to be a very special moment personally for Dan Jones, but what I liked about his comments, David, was that he didn't talk about himself. He wanted to honor his kids and congratulate his kids and give them credit for their hard work.
Emerson, all weekend we've seen great crowd support for these teams, and right now, as we can see here behind us, everybody getting ready for this Union County-Hartsville game. Just a great turnout for all these schools.
We've had a tremendous crowd here today. I would say Gaffney Dutch Fork, the largest crowd that we had, but certainly Greenwood and Northwestern traveled extremely well, and it's always this way, particularly when the weather is nice. There have been years past where we had some rain, and maybe that hurt the crowd a little bit, but by and large, we get tens of thousands here at Williams-Brice every year that the state championship games are played here, and it was the same way last year. Huge crowd last year for that Gaffney-Burns state championship game, and great turnout today, really helped by the weather. It was about 70 degrees when the 3 o'clock game, the Gaffney-Dutch Fork game, kicked off. Not a cloud in the sky this afternoon. We couldn't have asked for better weather, and the high school league, Jerome Singleton and his staff did a great job putting on the weekend of champions again this year. This is one of my favorite weekends of the year every year, David.
If there's one moment from the entire weekend that stands out the most to you, what is it?
Well, there's several. I think about the freshman Avery McCall from Dillon, who threw 3 first-half touchdown passes last night in Dillon's victory over Fairfield Central. That one stands out for sure. I'll think about Shaq Davidson and the 2 long touchdown runs that he had, and the way the Gaffney defense game planned to stop Jordan Berry. That was something I'll remember as well. Who will forget the overtime thriller today between Greenwood and Northwestern? And I suspect we may have some more memories made with this Union County-Hartsville game that's about to begin.
And as you said, we've had a lot of great moments and highlights here this weekend, but it's been an entire great season of high school football here in South Carolina with a lot of great highlights. So let's take a look at the top 5 from this season in the South Carolina High School League.
And now let's take a look at the top 5 plays from the South Carolina football season. Coming in at number 5, August the 24th from Blythewood. Devin Pearson, the quarterback. Up top, P.J. Heath of South Point. Look at him get behind the defender, down the sideline, the great concentration, and you see the diving catch in the end zone. Watch it again. The 27-yard touchdown. Pearson to Heath. The great catch. And the Stallions would go on to the 39-16 victory over Blythewood. Coming in at number 4, November the 16th from Columbia. All about Keyston Smith from Union County. A huge game against AC Flora. Couldn't just pick one play, he was that good. The touchdown here, 79 yards to Victor Ruth. He'll do it again. You'll watch him hook up with number 1, Victor Ruth, for 55 yards on this play here in the 3rd quarter. Smith later on would throw one for 39 as well. That would go to TJ Foster. The senior quarterback added 3 scores on the ground as well. The Yellow Jackets, the thrilling 41-38 quarterfinal win in the Division I 3A playoffs. And now at number 3, the good from AC Flora, September the 14th in Columbia. Ryan Davis of AC Flora, lightning can strike twice. The sophomore cornerback, you saw him jump that pass, take it in for the easy score. Watch it again. Great instincts here from number 3 as he gets in for 6. And can you believe, on the very next play from scrimmage, Davis would do it again. This time, he takes the ball from the receiver. He'll go 23 yards, for the second pick six in a matter of seconds. The Falcons would pull away for the 48-20 victory over Columbia.
Touchdown! Are you kidding me, Ryan Davis? He is making a case for Defensive Performer of the Week.
And now to your second play of the year in South Carolina, September the 21st from Irmo. Jordan Berry of Dutch Fork makes the catch, somehow gets out of that serious traffic, breaks the tackles, and he goes to pay dirt, 76 yards in all. A great individual effort on the first play of the game from Jordan Berry. Watch it again. 3 defenders all around him, bounces off, goes the distance, 76 yards. Berry's heroics, though, would not be enough as Dutch Fork fell 28-17 against Goose Creek. And now to your top play from the state of South Carolina. September the 7th in Columbia. Greenwood's Caleb Chalmers. He doesn't bite on the double pass, and watch the young man with the athleticism. One-handed. Are you kidding me? Unbelievable hang time, and that would inspire the Eagles to a 21-7 win over Irmo.
Number 3, Caleb Chalmers, who has already returned a fumble, 45 yards for a touchdown, and he just goes up with a one-handed grab.
Watch him go and hang up and pull that down. That's LeBron James. That's a rebound right there.
Thanks for watching. That was your top 5 plays of the football season in 2012 from South Carolina, brought to you by Play On Sports. High school sports lives here.
A great season of high school football here in the state of South Carolina, but we still have one more game to go. The 3A state championship between the Union County Yellow Jackets and the Hartsville Red Foxes coming up right after this break.
At South Atlantic Bank, we believe in sound banking practices. We believe in providing exemplary customer service to every individual and business. We